All right, it's 2 o'clock.
Indeed, it is 2 o'clock. We're starting on time, ironically, Someone's
once.
not here and it's on time.
For once. No, so I got a text from Matt a little while ago. He said, can't do the podcast today, but you guys can figure something out if you want, basically. So we thought about it, a couple different options, and we decided me and Jeff will start out here, answer some questions that Jeff can answer, some detailing related questions, maybe some questions about what he does here, and then we're going to have a rotating cast of characters with some other people stopping in, taking over that chair, and I'll interview them with questions that you guys in the chat provide, and maybe I can get them going on a rant. So it's a little different today, but hopefully mixing it up is a good thing. Matt, I think, is just stuck in Closet World at his house right now. It's basically the short version of it. No, we didn't fire Matt. That didn't happen yet. Let's see. Our buddy Dan Pfeiffer, always checking in from Minnesota. Let's see who else is here. Dylan. Let's see. Any upcoming videos detailing an E36? Jeffrey Robert wants to know. Not that I know of.
Not that you know of, or that we know of, but we know coilovers got shipped for it. The BBSs just showed up for it, so Matt ordered tires for that. So just wait, E36 content is coming, I promise. I don't know when, but it will be here soon.
And that's with those 2 silver wheels that showed up today?
Correct, and then there's 2 in the other box.
Okay.
Yeah, they're so tiny they fit in one giant box.
Interesting. Gotcha. All right, yeah, and I counted because I saw you changed your picture.
Yeah.
There are 26 tires in the garage right now and 24 wheels.
Don't add up the cost of every single wheel.
I'm not sure why that is. There's only 4 wheels and 4 tires actually on a car. The rest are not on a car. Yeah, all right. Oh, we got a super chat here already. Nice. From Alex, $9.99 US. Hey, Chris and Jeff, when will the 100-foot power lock cords be back in stock? I already got line through Reserve Your Spot. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Alex. Do you have any input, Jeff? Because I have a little bit of input.
Power lock cords, those have always been out of stock.
Yeah, those.
It's tough.
Alex, the short version is we were told February originally was when we'd have them, and then in February we were told March or April, and now it's April, so I guess if we call them, they'll say May or June. But they have been ordered. There was a 16 or 17 week lead time, and it's just one of those things, unfortunately. I don't have an exact date for you, Alex. Sorry. Let's see. Matt was arrested as a result of Stubbygate. That's Edwin's theory. Who knows? Jeff. Oh, here you go, Jeff. What's your favorite air freshener for your car? That's from our buddy Philippe in Canada.
Favorite air freshener, Angel Wax Eden. I'm an Eden. I don't like Bliss. I think Eden smells better, in my opinion.
Is that the fruitier one or the more?
Yes, it's the fruity one.
Gotcha. All right, here you go. Here's some more questions for Jeff. This is good. Keep them coming. Jeff, if this is true, why do you prefer CSL alone without EXO?
To be brutally honest with you, I hate applying EXO because it gives me anxiety because it rejects because of CSL, and then the sweating is just incredible, and you have to do 2 coats of it. So I'd rather just save the headache and just apply CSL and call it a day.
All right. I think, does Kyle do that too?
Kyle does like CSL by itself as well.
Okay, that's what I thought. Let's see. Neil wants to know how many Ego stubby nozzles were returned. Let's see. I didn't see any yet, but people are just now getting them, so I don't know the answer to that, Neil. It's probably a few. Let's see. Hey, Jeff, how many of those Sunjo pressure washer vacuum combos have sold since your last test video?
I would really like to know from Sunjo if I increased sales or not. I know the one that we had sold immediately. So when I did the fire sale Sunjos. Right. By the way, if you would like a Sunjo that we used in the video, we have a ton of them. Please email jeff@obsessedgarage.com. I could sell it to you just as a unit alone, or if you want, you can buy the Sunjo accessory package, and I'll throw in the Sunjo pressure washer with it. So at no additional cost. So email jeff@obsessedgarage.com if you want free pressure washer with your package. So.
And that's also good because we have people asking questions about kind of a placeholder while they're waiting on their Krenzla.
Correct.
So if that's you and you ordered it and you haven't gotten it yet, you're looking for something to tide you over, buy a Sunjo for $100 and keep it for a few months. Let's see. Matt is taking a nap on the couch while Heartland plays over the fireplace. There's probably some truth there, Jeff C. Oh, here you go, C-Mac. What is Jeff's dream spec Porsche?
I'm going to find out for you right now. I have the color saved.
Oh,
so my dream is a GT3. But I would do paint to sample Viola Purple Metallic. That's the color name. With just all black interior with a few bit of carbon fiber interior. But it would be PDK. I don't want a manual.
And what's the MSRP on that sort of thing?
A lot.
Like 250,000?
About 280, 270, I would assume.
Gotcha. All right, let's see here. Is 2 weeks recommended to wait for the first wash after CSL and EXO?
I'd say 2 weeks is about, you should be fine. Just don't do it immediately after.
All right. Steven Rodriguez wants to know, hey, Jeff, do you remove ceramic coating off of wheels before adding a new coat?
No, because it usually isn't on there anymore, especially with me with track pads and heating them up so well. It's just destroyed.
Burns it off.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Brian Schwab says, hey, Jeff, please get Matt to test Polish Angel products. Also test Big Boy products. Do we have any of that in here?
No. Matt does not like the Big Boy. I know that. So
he's not a fan of that. I did know that much. Let's see. Hey, Jeff, what's the story with the damage on your Mustang? That's from Matt H in the chat.
Some people have figured it out. Basically, long story short, I did a burnout introduction for Adam LZ's YouTube channel, and I was doing the donuts, and I got really cocky and decided to continue after the donuts, and the diff opened up, so I did 180 degree spin, and I slowed down just enough to barely hit a tree. So that's long story short. That's what happened. I spun out drifting and hit a tree. And so fender and door got damaged. I got them replaced. That's it. The car's perfectly fine. It runs and drives. It's painted. It doesn't even look like it happened. So that's the story on the Mustang. But it's gone now, so it is what it is.
And what did you replace your Mustang?
I replaced it with a 328 XI wagon. So I went normal and economical and, save some money, especially with gas prices. And, I want to save money for a better, cooler, more expensive car. So that's my route that I'm going through right now.
All right. And what's your experience with the wagon so far? I heard you drive it like you drove the Mustang, so there's not really much of a change.
I actually don't. I drive really economical. I get 26.8 miles to the gallon, Chris, in that thing. It's amazing. I'm saving so much money.
What was it before with the Mustang?
With the Mustang, it was about 16. I had to fill up every 3 days. So this will last me about a week. But I will admit, I have taken it at Autobahn speeds and it's real smooth. I love that thing. It's a dream. It's having a normal car once in my life has been amazing.
Nice. All right, let's see here. DJ Apache says he's looking forward to SVS gear. Yeah, we got 2 pallets of that in Wednesday. So Matt has not opened it yet, DJ Apache, so give us some time on that. C-Mac was are there any products that Jeff wants to see come to the OG store?
I'm really excited for the Milwaukee polisher. Honestly, I didn't get to use it yet, but I did see testing at Billy's, and I saw Matt use it on the E92 for a bit. I'm really excited. Like I'm gonna buy one. I want to get my hands on it and try it. And I feel like especially working at the LZ compound with polishing his stuff, I feel like I'll be using the Milwaukee basically all the time and replacing my Rupes with it.
All right. Hey, Jeff, how cool is Eli over at FCP Euro? That's from Ignition.
That's debatable. Oof, I don't know about that one.
On a scale of 0 to Chris cool.
-3.
Oof, okay. Speaking of Milwaukee, I have this product because this is new in the store. So this is the, what are they calling this? The detailing light?
The detailing light from Milwaukee.
The color temp, 2700, 35,
45, 55, 65. And it's pretty bright,
cool.
too.
Yeah, it is very bright.
They are actually in stock and in the store and ready to ship out, too, if you want one.
Let's see, mode. What does mode do?
Mode changes the brightness of it.
Gotcha. So there you go. Yeah, it's an M12 product. We've sold a couple already. We have 6 I saw sitting on the shelf. There's probably more back there. Greg says, Jeff and Chris living the normal car life. That's correct. That's awesome. I have an LS. What do I have? LS430. Yeah, 2001 LS430. Dylan wants to know, hey, Jeff, what do you think about the new Mustang S650?
I haven't really done any research on it because I kind of don't want to think about Mustangs anymore, but I saw the front end. I mean, I think it looks cool. I mean, it's just another Mustang. They're good cars, so they'll just keep making good cars, in my opinion.
All right, give me a couple more detailing questions here for Jeff. This guy wants to know, JL67, what's your go-to 2-step compound and polish?
I like using Matt's system with Jesscar with a microfiber cutting pad, and then to finish polishing, yellow Rupes pad with Sonak's Perfect Finish. So,
all right.
Also, if you want to do any LZ detailing stuff, because I am Adam LZ's detailer, so I know a lot of people curious about that stuff. I can ask questions. I can answer questions about that as well.
Has he had you on the shown any of your work on the channel?
He hasn't. I'm like Easter eggs in most people's channels, so I'm Easter eggs occasionally just popping up or doing something.
Gotcha. All right, our good Canadian friend Philippe Champagne. Hey Jeff, you got to tell Matt to make an OG spec maple leaf hat when OG Canada comes here. I think we talked about that a couple weeks ago. That's a really good idea. I like that.
Like a limited batch, like hey, we're OG Canada. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Let's see. Ooh, here's a good question for you. Well, we'll get to that one in a second. Jeff C. wants to know, Jeff, did Yoshi finally convince you to buy a diesel?
I will never buy a diesel. That's just my opinion. I did convince Yoshi to buy another diesel, funny enough. So, yeah, I guess I convinced him to buy multiple while he's trying to convince me to get a diesel.
You're not a diesel guy.
No, I don't see the point of it.
Let's see. Here's a good question for you. What's the biggest lesson that you learned early on when starting professional detailing?
Learned early on that there is not a right way. Or there's definitely wrong ways, but there's not one specific right way. That took me a while to figure out and learn. There's multiple different ways of doing it right, but there's not one like solid yes, because everyone has their different methods, everyone has different strategies, everyone has different ideas and how they present things.
All right, quick from Detailing 101 here about your Milwaukee polisher. The cordless polisher by Milwaukee is amazing. I use it myself with detailing business, especially for heavy scratch removal or headlight restoration. Highly recommended. Nice. Henry Collins wants to know, how do you get a detailing client with such a large collection? What product do you use the most when maintaining his collection?
The product I use the most is soap because that's just common use. I need to wash all the cars all the time. How I got it, essentially just through mutual connections with Matt and Adam, and I've cleaned his cars before for the open house, so it made sense. I lived here in Orlando. He needed someone he could trust and clean the cars with and have peace of mind, so it just ended up working out. So now I'm take care of a collection and I don't have to do detailing anywhere else. It's very nice.
Nice. All right, 2 more questions for Jeff. Yeah. It looks like Bryce is in the on-deck circle. So those of you out there, get your questions ready for Bryce. Jeff, with working OG and for Adam on the side, what's your work-life balance like?
Lack of sleep sometimes. It's very, OG is my priority. So, I'm here Monday through Friday doing what I need to do. If I need to stay late, I need to stay late. I try to keep LZ to limited hours. So usually I'll come in the weekends or I'll come after work and stay there for a really long night. That's something I've tried to I battle myself with. I'll be really honest. The work-life balance is it's difficult, but I try to always make sure I don't overwork myself and, I give myself some breaks and relax and go out on trips.
All right, last question here from Weaver Details. Hey, Jeff, what's your favorite product that OG doesn't sell?
Favorite product that OG doesn't sell?
Good question.
Ooh, that's a hard one. It'll probably be that OG doesn't sell. I really like G-Technic C5.
What is that? Is the
wheel
coating?
Wheel coating,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to have that, right?
Yeah, we used to have it. We don't carry it anymore.
Okay.
We use Deluxe instead. Deluxe is better, but I still like using my C5.
All right, so thank you all for the questions for Jeff. And Redmond says, how did Jeff start at OG? And then Nate chimed in. We did make a video about that, Nate. You're exactly right. To hear the Jeff story, just do a little search in the videos for Jeff. Because we were worried about Jeff's interview, but it turned out really, really well. We were like, he's like 18 years old. He doesn't have anything to say, but he had a lot to say, and he has a really cool story. So definitely check out that video, Redmond. All right, so who's up next? Bryce?
Bryce is up next.
All right.
There you go.
Thank you, Jeff. Now, what's your official title now, Bryce?
Man, it's changing all the time, Chris. I don't know.
I'm
a technical director now.
Technical director. So I don't know exactly what that means.
Neither do I.
But he does a lot. And he's the when we made the switch to the new website that you guys brag about so much and enjoy so much, he's the one who did all the work kind of behind the scenes and got that going. So let's see. Let me log out of that. Got to hear about oh yeah, Matt wants to know. Okay. So Matt Duffy, our good friend, wants to know. Tell us about this RX-7 that you got, Bryce. I guess this is the latest purchase. You have the old red Miata.
Yep.
And you had a Ford F-150.
Yep.
And then what? What happened?
So my dream car has always been like a rotary vehicle, and like my inside joke here at work is if I could daily drive something, it would be like a 4-rotor 787B from like Le Mans, but that's besides the point. I just basically traded my truck to an OG member who had an RX-7. He was looking for a truck, and I was kind of joking with him. I was like, oh, I got a truck, and he was like, I might actually be interested in that. And I was like, okay. Once in a lifetime chance to get like a childhood dream vehicle, so I just did it. I was like, screw it.
That's cool. And where's the car from? Because I know it's right-hand drive, right?
Yeah, so it's Japanese.
Okay.
So it came over here. It went Florida. It's been like back and forth between Florida and like PA and New Jersey. So yeah, right-hand drive, JDM RX-7 FD3S.
Does that take any getting used to it all, or is like once you're in there, you're like, okay, I can do this easy?
It took me like 10 minutes or so. Like my one friend has a 86, a right-hand drive 86 Corolla, so I drove that for a little bit, kind of got used to that. But it's definitely different being like on the edge of the road and not having an idea of like how far you're actually like. I'm just like paranoid constantly because I'm like, oh, here goes my mirror, it's gonna go. But you get used to it.
Nice. And where was it before? Right before it came here. So you traded the truck basically, and where did the truck go?
The truck's in New Jersey now, so it went back up north. It was originally from Canada, so it's back up in the north now.
And now, what year is the car?
That is 99.
Okay, so it's not old enough for the antique plate either then.
No, antique plate, I thought it was 30.
It's 25, right?
No, I thought it was 25. It's 30. So
it's 30
my
now.
Miata almost could have a plate that's antique. So I'm kind of upset about that.
A couple more years, Bryce. Just be patient and keep the cars till they're 30 years old. Bryce, Greg Hansel wants to know, has Matt driven the RX-7?
No, but he did look at it, and he gave me a compliment on it.
Ooh, what did he say?
Very rare. He said, "Oh, wow, it actually is pretty clean." And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take it. You don't get those often.
That's funny. Will he be driving it for like a wash and drive? Or maybe,
he did.
The plan,
he
right?
did say he did wanted to drive it for a wash and drive series. So be on the lookout for that. It's a new series we're going to start. You know, people submit their cars. We'll have a section on the website where you can fill out a form, and we'll go through and pick out some cars. Matt will wash it. We'll do a little driving segment on it. So if you have something that's really interesting, be on the lookout probably in the next month or so for that.
And the idea is they bring their car here. So just tell everyone about it because I don't want to screw it up. So how does that work?
Yeah. So you fill it out. You bring your car here. You have to be like, make sure you have insurance on it, and you're okay with us putting cameras on your car. And if you don't like us putting cameras on here, it's not really gonna work that well. But you bring it here. We film a wash on it. He doesn't want the driver to be, or the owner to be, most of the video, like probably like a little bit of it, but he wants it to be mostly about the process of washing a car and experiencing it and what his experiences are of that car. So pretty simple concept, but it'll be a new series that we'll do more often, and probably one of our more produced series you'll see.
Excellent. Yeah, and those of you who are scared about the whole cameras on the car thing, don't be, because Matt put it on all his cars when we went to the track, and it turns out just fine. Waba knows what he's doing now. This is going to be good. Greg Hansel wants to know, how's the headlight cover? Yeah, I saw a video or something. You lost a headlight cover, or Kyle broke it? What happened?
Yeah, so I let Kyle drive the RX-7, and we had the headlights up, and like the right cover, just like it popped up a little bit. It was like, boop. I'm like, oh, I wonder if it was just like the headlight, the linkage that came loose. No, it was the cover. I was like, oh, just put the lights down. He hit the switch to turn the lights down, and then it just took off. Like it just flew. Thankfully, we were like on a 2-lane road, and it flew into the grass. But I've epoxied that thing, like a whole tube of epoxy. I don't think it's coming off ever again. So no damage. Looks good.
Let's see. Morgan chimes in here. He says, in Florida, it's 30 years old for antique plate. They used to have a collectible plate for 20-plus-year-old cars many years ago.
Dang, that's probably what I thought then. Because I was like, I need one more year for my Miata. And I was like, I want the cool blue plate. And I go in there, I'm like so happy. I'm at the dealership, the DMV. I'm like, yeah, I want the antique plate. And she's starting filling out stuff. She's like, oh, honey, it looks like you're a year off. I'm like, no.
That's so close.
And they're cheaper, too. It's nice.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. All right, David J. War Eagle, our buddy in Alabama, says he saw a mid-90s Civic with an antique plate the other day, and that felt super weird. That's a sign you're getting old, David. That's what that means. It's like when you listen to the oldie station and you hear a song that you are very familiar with.
Yep.
Steven says, I got off a conference call, just tuned in. I like this format. If everybody's getting a turn, I like to meet the behind-the-scenes people. Excellent, Steven. Cool. All right, Bryce, so what are you working on currently at OG? What's your big project at this moment?
Big project. I got, I guess, 2 of them kind of going right now. I'm working on Destination OG a little bit with Mike. So I think Mike should be on this, hopefully, if I don't take up too much time. And then I'm also working on the idea of starting up a screen printing apparel decoration company. So we have all of our own merchandise and shirts made in-house. So I've been crunching numbers and figuring that stuff out lately. So maybe we'll have our own shirts that we make.
Nice.
So, I don't know.
I'm going to ask you a couple of questions that people asked Jeff that I think would apply to you. With regard to car detailing and such. Hey, Bryce, what's your favorite product that OG does not sell? Because you're kind of into the whole cleaning and taking care of your car thing too, right?
Yeah, I mean, when I got a truck, I kind of like
slacked
so
a little.
bad. I'm just like, it's a truck, it's gonna get dirty, whatever, screw it. That's a good question. This is funny, but I like Meguiar's Gold Class.
What is that?
That's a car shampoo, and you just get it at Walmart for like super cheap. But like I don't know, it smells good. It's not like, I don't know, it's readily available. Like I buy that. It's like super weird. I work here and I don't buy GSF, and I don't buy tire dressing. I'm a terrible person.
Which tire dressing do you buy then? What do you use?
I like to use Pearl still, so I'll take Pearl, dilute it 50-50, and just use that everywhere.
Nice. Here's a question from our buddy C-Mac. Bryce, where do you get that nice braided sleeving when it comes to cable management?
Oh, so the braided sleeving is just, you can get on Amazon. I think it's like Alex Tech or something. You can get it pretty much anywhere. It comes in different sizes. So just look on Amazon for like cable sleeving, and it's just like the expandable. You can pull it apart, put the wires in, and just buy a bunch of it different sizes. And I mean, it looks great. Use some zip ties or I like using Velcro zip ties. Matt hates it. I think he has joy just like cutting plastic zip ties.
Yeah, he does enjoy
like,
that.
That's like, it's like doing tire nibs, like him cutting zip ties. I don't know why, but
I think it gives him an excuse to use a $700 scissors. That's why.
Probably.
Morgan, more information from Morgan. I don't know if you knew this, Bryce. I didn't know this. They won't let you customize the plate text and numbers on antique plates, unfortunately.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't like that.
So you just go with whatever they give you. Yeah, because you got a special one for this car, right? What's your plate say?
So the plate for the RX-7 says oil fed on it. So if you know about rotary engines, you kind of understand the reasoning behind that.
All right, Philippe agrees with you. He says Gold Class is good in a foam cannon.
It is.
Nice.
It foams great. Smells good. It doesn't really reactivate that much. But, everyone has different preferences. It's just what I've used forever.
All right, what's one thing, aside from that you disagree with Matt on when it comes to washing or detailing? Got anything that you can think of like that?
I don't like the idea of the giant curveball brush for tires, because I usually have with my cars smaller profile tires, and I don't want to get the tire dressing all over the wheel. So people are like, "Oh, you just wipe the wheel with the towel." I'm like, I guess, I don't know. I just like being more precise with it, and it just seems like so huge for like smaller sidewalls.
Gotcha. So what do you use? You use a race glaze, or you use one of the detail factor?
Yeah, so I use a race glaze. I feel like it has like a stiffer bristle, so you can kind of just like cut in around like the lip guard on the wheel. So I don't know. Maybe I'm a psychopath and like the outlier, but.
Gotcha. All right, this is good. I'm looking at the questions on Instagram, trying to see if there's any that Bryce can answer. That one's definitely for Matt. That one's for Mike. Oh, here's a good question, because I had the exact same question. You may know the answer to this, Bryce. Anatone on Instagram. Why did Matt have the M12 inflator in his bathroom cabinet that he said was going to take out? What is he inflating in there?
I have no idea, but now I am very curious why there's...
Yeah, I noticed that in the video too, actually, and I was like, I don't understand what that's for.
Like blowing up basketballs in the bathroom or something?
I don't know. Tony says, Matt is watching. Don't make him mad. No, Matt is definitely not watching right now. He forgot this is even happening, I bet you, Tony. All right, let's see. Oh, what is Bryce's go-to lunch spot? He knows that everyone likes Chipotle. Are you a Chipotle guy, or what do you do for lunch?
I mean, Chipotle is all right. Like, Waba will eat Chipotle every day, and that man's just a psychopath, so I don't know. Like, I wouldn't be able to survive. I love Taco Bell, but there's not a Taco Bell by work. This is a real shame. Come on, Taco Bell.
Sad.
Where you at? Please.
I love Taco Bell, too.
Huey Magoo's is really good. I like the chicken at Huey Magoo's. Yeah. Mission's all right. We go to Mission every now and then. A bunch of us go out. Mission barbecue.
Yeah, it's like a half mile away. It used to take 30 seconds to get there. Now it takes 30 minutes to get there. Here's... Kyle is on deck, by the way. So for those of you asking questions, Kyle's coming in next. He's Garage Design. Matt Duffy, he has a good theory here about. He said Matt uses floaties in the bathtub, and that's why he has the inflator thing.
That makes sense. He probably doesn't know how to swim.
That does make sense, actually. All right, well, thank you, Bryce. We appreciate you taking the time to come in and chat. Kyle is up next. Kyle is, we'll get his exact title here in just a second. Taco Bell is bringing back the Mexican pizza next month. I did see that, Morgan. Sadly, it was on CNN.com on the front page the other day. Big news in the world. Chris, what's your passion since you're not that into cars? That's a great question. I'll think about that, Steven.
I know what it is.
I have a couple. I'm not really into cars all that much, but I enjoy traveling, going places, concerts, drinking bourbon, a couple of different things. So now we got Kyle. Kyle has you just celebrated
Hello.
your 3rd anniversary here, if my math is correct.
Yeah. A week ago?
Yeah, April. I think it was tax
15th.
day.
Tax
April
day.
15th,
Yep, that's how I remember it.
2019. All right. So what is your current title here at Obsessed Garage? What are you doing these days?
I am the design director. Oh gosh, Manny. I am the design director. I knew this was coming. Dang it. Design director for the drafting room, as we've named it, which is garage design here at Obsessed Garage.
Okay. Now that obviously didn't exist until recently. So tell us just a brief 1-minute version of you coming here and what your role was in the beginning and kind of how it's evolved.
Okay. Matt, I kind of knew Matt from just being a local guy and hanging out and coming to, buy stuff and all that. Went to a Rupes training, the second one, the last one I guess we did, which was cool. And Matt hired me to basically just answer emails, take the load off of him and Chris and Michelle, who was doing it at the time. And so I started answering emails and answering questions about pressure washers and all that stuff. And then it turned into a full technical support department, kind of built that out. We hired Jeff, and then it kind of branched off from there. I had this, I was doing garages as a part of that. People would ask about pressure washers, but they would ask about, hey, what kind of stuff do I need to do with cabinets? And then it turned into we were doing full designs basically for an entire garage. And back in July, basically mid last year, I broke away from technical support and started doing that full time. Now I've got Ed and Sean with me, and we're building out an even bigger team as we chase this more and more.
So the people who watched the Atlanta garage build video, you were the one who kind of spearheaded that effort, right?
Yeah. John reached out to us, and we worked on that garage for like a year and a half.
It was a long time. Yeah. Excellent. All right. I want to ask you a couple questions that have come up for others that are good questions, I think. What's one thing that you would like to see in the OG store that we don't have in the OG store when it comes to like a detailing product? I don't know if you heard Bryce's answer.
Yeah, what did Bryce say?
He said McGuire's Gold Class. He actually likes the...
That's what he uses?
Yeah, he said
we're not ever going to have that. I do like the smell, though. It's like shampoo or something.
Nice. He mentioned the smell.
Griot's interior cleaner.
Oh, okay.
Tommy will echo me on that. That's like...
really
good.
What's the deal with it? Is it just works better? It smells good?
There's like hardly any scent. It's clear. There's no dyes. It's a very like light product, but it cleans really well. It's great for dusting as well. Just like it doesn't leave any streaks on black surfaces. Even if you get it on your windows, you can wipe it off your windows. It's not going to leave any streaks or anything like that. Like you could use it for that if you wanted to. I don't, but it's good.
All right, let me ask you a couple good Kyle questions here. And Kyle is super all into the detailing as well. So if you have those questions, let me know. Good. Tony also can't wait for the Mexican pizza to come back at Taco Bell. Good, Tony.
So good.
Greg wants to know, have you all become food snobs like Matt? I'm not really a food snob. I like Taco Bell. But I'd rather eat a really good meal twice a month than Taco Bell every day if money is the thing. I have that discussion every once in a while with my wife about we should just do 2 awesome dinners a month.
Rice and beans the rest of the time.
And I'd much rather go for that. Hey, Kyle, this is from Zach in the chat. What's your opinion on the MK8 Golf?
I love it. I think I was actually trying to get a Mark 8 Golf R and trade my Spectrum R, but I couldn't find one. I mean, I could find them, but they're like $1 million over MSRP. The infotainment's kind of weird. I think you can get used to it though, but the car itself, just in every aspect, is better in terms of drivability and the mechanics of it. Interior is probably not that great, but everything else is really good.
Yeah, and just as a reminder for people who don't know, what do you have right now? What's your?
I have the 2008. 2008. I don't know what year this is. 2019 Golf R. It's a Spectrum color. It's Viper Green Metallic.
All right, so that leads me to C-Mac's question. If Kyle could choose a different Spectrum color for his VW, which one would it be?
Oh, I really like the purples.
Yeah, because you,
But-
2 weekends ago you went to the...
Yeah, I went to Wookiees in the Woods up in the Smokies, and we had, I think, like 22 or 23 Spectrum cars. It was the biggest gathering ever. That's like 10%, something like that.
So the purple one caught your eye?
The purples are cool. It'd probably be something like more rare that maybe wasn't produced, like one of the, like, I think there's like a mocha anthracite, or maybe something that's kind of brown. That'd be kind of cool. There's a one-of-one Caribbean green that we got to see that Melissa drives, and it was phenomenal.
Nice.
It's really good.
All right, we have a super chat here from our own Manny. $100.
We don't. I already know what this question is. We don't have time for this.
Yeah, I was told this would take 45 minutes for you to answer, so we're not going to do that. But I'm going to read his question here and then follow it up with Lewis's. I want to hear Kyle talk about his rinseless wash method, he has in quotes. I heard it's very intense and thorough. What say you, Kyle? And he spent $100 to ask that.
That's
and
intense,
then
yeah.
Lewis follows up, our own Lewis. I second Manny, but I'm not giving $100.
Oh man.
All right, so in a as short a time period as you could possibly,
Okay, I'll
what
give
is
you
the rinseless wash method?
Quick step by steps.
Okay, ready. Take notes.
Wheels, you could do that if you want to or not.
Okay.
Pre-foam while the car is dry. It's controversial. Matt doesn't like that. Pre-foam while the car is dry. Extremely thorough rinse. It's the biggest part of the rinseless process, is a good thorough rinse.
Rinse as part of the rinseless process?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. Wash with a Microfiber Madness and Credamit with N914 rinseless wash.
Rinseless wash, okay.
Dry the car with a towel, and then drying aid. Wipe down with Gauntlet. That's pretty much it.
And that's your kind of your go-to?
Yep.
Or maintenance wash, or...
Yeah, so it's not a true rinseless wash at all. It's just I use N914 as a wash replacement.
Gotcha. So a rinseless wash involving a rinse. Got
Yes.
it. That is
And
very
foaming.
controversial.
And foaming, too.
So thanks, Manny, for that question. Greg Hansel says, hey, Kyle, when we look into closet design, what will the design fee be? I guess is what I said. Yeah, what are we doing in terms of like fees and stuff?
Yeah, there's not going to be a fee for it. Just like with garage design, we don't charge a fee. We charge a deposit. We were talking about this yesterday, and we'll probably do like $500. That'll be like a
deposit?
Yeah, just a deposit. Maybe it'll be a thing that you buy, or we just invoice you. Not sure, but it'll be it's roughly 10% of what like a closet or two would be. So that's a pretty good amount to keep the tire kickers out of here.
Yeah, I was gonna say basically the deposit's there to make sure people are serious and you don't waste hours and hours and hours. David J, we'll get a couple more questions here. Then we got Mike T on deck. It looks like coming in. David J, where you go? Kyle, for 1980s construction, how do you handle garage ceilings that cannot be drywalled due to plumbing, HVAC ducting, etc.?
So like open rafters and stuff like that, I guess.
Yeah, because you deal with lots of different... Is most of what you do new construction, or is it...
Yeah, new construction or renovations. I mean, at that point, you just do LS fixtures, or you could do like a troffer style and just kind of mount it, make like a little box in the rafters and mount like a 1x4, like a CR troffer or ZR or something like that. It'd be pretty good.
I think you know the answer to this one real quick. Lucas, will the next active pressure washer still have the outlet on the back of the unit, or maybe located on the side, similar to a Krinsla?
I think they changed it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Mike can answer that question next.
Okay, we'll say that. All right, last question for Kyle. Are you seeing an increase in garage and home design enough to warrant more growth and longevity at OG? And then when you schedule design work, do you have a specific timeline to finish a design?
We are seeing more growth. Like Q1 was bigger than Q1 of last year, but it's kind of like it'll go up like this and then go up again and so on. But yeah, it's definitely going to be big. What was the last part of the question?
When you schedule design work, do you have a specific timeline to finish?
Not really. I mean, it kind of depends. We go until the project is done. Sometimes we go back and forth for, like with John, 1.5 years of designing it, making changes and whatever. It's different when it's being built. But if it's a pretty easy build, we can do it in a couple weeks type of thing. So.
And some people plan a year or more out in advance just because they know it's going to take a while. With
I would say a
products.
lot of who we deal with are people that are new construction. They're trying to plan ahead, so they're a year, 18 months out.
All right. Well, thank you, Kyle. And Yoshi, by the way, in the super chat says you're a splendid gentleman,
Oh, thank you.
but he wants Jeff back. So
Oh, man.
So thanks for that, Yoshi. So Mike T is coming up next. Mike Tugeline here. And I'm gonna. What's your official title right now, Mike? What are you doing?
Senior content coordinator.
Senior content coordinator. That sounds special. So what is that? What's your number one thing? I think it's. Well, I won't speak for you. What are you doing right now? What's your?
A lot of photography.
Okay.
I also handle the podcast. And then anyone needs, kind of like if Lewis needs design help, I help him out with that. And then I work with Bryce also on some like the keychains. That was me and Bryce.
There you go. Get closer to the mic too.
Yeah.
So here's a question that they were asking Kyle, but I'm going to ask it of you because I think I know the answer. From Dylan in the chat, Kyle/Mike, do you design the T-shirts and illustrations that OG sells?
Yes, except for the car illustrations. That's done by
Candy Pipes
Candy
is his
Pipes,
name, right?
yeah.
Candy Pipes on Instagram. That dude churns out some work.
Yeah, he's sick.
So now go back to the keychains for just a second. Those racing keychains. So what's the story on those? How did that come about? What role did you play in that, etc.?
So Matt always drops giveaways on us last minute, and I thought I would try and get ahead of Matt for once. And so we work with racing all the time. They send us stuff. And so I saw their keychain, and I was like, wow, that's kind of sick. I wonder if they could like design one for us. And so I reached out, and they're like, yeah, absolutely. And so we ended up working. It changed. The design's a little bit different from theirs. The angle of the keychain matches the hex that is engraved on it. And so he designed it for us over there, and then now we make them.
Nice. And I think those are pretty much our biggest sellers during the last giveaway in terms of actual quantity of things sold.
I believe so. And then we do have a special one coming for the next giveaway.
I was going to ask about that. I don't know if you want to reveal anything, but there's...
Not yet. But
Okay.
it'll be limited, and it'll be real special.
Gotcha. And limited meaning, okay, we're going to do 100 or 200 or 500 or whatever, and then we're done?
Yep.
Okay. Because usually what happens is we'll have a product, then we figure out it's super popular, and then we have to order more, and then we still have some left in the store, which is good because people want them. But this one, I guess, is going to be actually limited.
Yeah, we'll cut down on the air fractures next time.
There you go. Yeah, we have some leftovers. Greg Hansel wants to know, hey, Mike, how's the G8 going? Any complaints from the neighbors?
So far, no. But, I mean, their kids should probably be up by 7 a.m. anyway, which is when I leave for work. So it's a nice little wake-up call. But it's not too loud, honestly. I do have... It is straight-piped, as Matt likes to say it. But I do have a muffled midsection on it, so it's not obnoxiously loud. And it's pretty quiet in the car, which is nice.
All right, so Matt Duffy wants to know, because we had talked about it on here before, that you were in line to get a Bronco.
I was.
So what happened? What's the story there? Why do you have a G8 now instead of a Bronco?
I ordered a Bronco a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And they kept pushing it. And then finally I was like, I'm really tired of the Ford Edge. Everyone here has cool cars. Let me go get a cool car. And so this one popped up. Raz, one of the moderators, he had one for sale about a year ago. And the wife told me no. So I was like, all right. Well, I kept my eye out anyway. And so this one popped up. And I was like, can I go get it now? And she's like, yeah, fine. So I traded in my Edge for the G8. 2 weeks later, I get an email from Ford. They're like, hey, your Bronco shipped. And I was like, it wasn't supposed to come for like 4 more months. I was like, I wasn't sure what I was going to do at that point. And then it shows up at the dealer. And so I talked to her and I'm like, do you want it? And she's like, absolutely not. I'm not driving
What
that
does she
thing."
drive? What does she have?
She has a Ford Escape, which she
Okay.
loves.
Okay.
She hates like big vehicles, so she hates my car too, and she hated the Edge. But she used to drive like a 2-door Cherokee, which I'm sure Brad appreciates, that she learned to drive on. It was her grandmother's.
Okay.
And so it shows up, and they're like, you can come take a look at it. And I was like, okay.
So the vehicle that you ordered actually showed up. It
Yeah,
it finally
actually,
made it. Okay.
yeah.
See, I hadn't heard this story either.
Yeah, it showed up early. Well, according to Ford, it showed up early. But realistically, it's about
No.
a year late. And obviously at this point I'm like, well, I just bought a new car. Bronco can't afford 2 car payments like that. So I emailed them and I was like, would you guys want it? And they're like, yeah, we want it.
Emailed Ford?
The sales rep at Molinex.
Okay.
Because they were one of the few around here that weren't doing dealer markup, which was nice. So it's just like tax, title, and tag. And they're like, yeah. So then they call me and they're like, we'll take it off your hand for $5,000. I was like, how about a little bit more than that? I'm like, CarMax will give me 16. So they're like,
16.
I'm like, let's meet in the middle. And they're like, 10. I'm like, deal. So if you want to buy my Bronco, it is currently in stock at Molinex Ford in Apopka. It's a very nice spec. Waba appreciated it. It's the eruption green over the tan on cloth with a hard top. I got cloth because if you take the roof off and you have leather, you're going to burn your butt in the Florida sun. So
good.
And so, yeah, that's it. I guess I technically flipped it.
Yeah, so...
Well, that wasn't my intention. But
right. So did you have to put any money down at the very beginning?
$100 deposit that I got back. So my check was for $10,100.
$10,100 and you didn't do anything.
I waited a long time.
You just waited. That's awesome. That's good stuff. All right, that's where's the Bronco? Okay, we answered that one. Sorry. Okay, here you go. What is Mike's wash process, if he has one?
I do.
All right, does yours differ from?
No, it's pretty much the same. But I use a different soap than everyone.
Uh-oh. Yeah. What do you use?
I got a lot of flack for this, but I use Ethos Foam Party. And I like it because it foams really well in really cheap pressure washers, which I had a Sunjo. But also on the Active, it foams really well, and it also smells like a pina colada. So I like it. But other than that, no, I don't really do anything different.
So Ethos Foam Party for you. Bryce uses McGuire's Gold Class.
Yep.
This is good. We're learning all kinds of good stuff today.
Oh, and then person with the Active 2.0 question.
Oh yeah.
It's the water inlet is on the side, so it's like a right angle.
Okay.
So almost like the Krenza, but a little bit different. So the pressure side is on the front, and the water inlet's on the side.
So in theory, this should be easier
on a wall mount.
On a wall mount solution, okay.
Or on a shelf.
Rather than have to do like a 90-degree elbow coming out the back.
Yeah, you won't need one anymore unless you do some weird setup.
So that's the Active 2.0, which is what, June, July? Is that what we're being told?
Something like that.
Yeah, probably later. So December. That's what that means. All right, let's see who's on deck. Oh, we got Andrew, actually. Andrew G. from the warehouse is going to be up next. So last question here for Mike. This is a question I've asked everyone. So what's one product that OG doesn't carry in the store that you would like to see carried in the store in terms of like detailing and such like that?
Me and Bryce were actually just talking about this earlier.
Okay, what do you got?
We don't have a water spot remover in the store.
Okay.
And for those of us that like have tiny Florida 2-car garages, we're kind of forced to park outside, and we also have the hardest water besides Arizona. So a water spot remover. I like the 3D car care product. I think they also call it Eraser, but it's water spot eraser, which I've given to Matt. I think Brad's used it a couple of times. It's pretty good.
It works well?
Yeah, it works really well. I like it. It's kind of like a weird gel they rub on, and then it kind of eats away. We won't do any like etched water spots, but obviously it's because it's etched.
Interesting. Yeah. All right. There you go. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That was Mike T. Andrew is coming up next. Andrew works in the warehouse here at Obsessed Garage. Ooh, Constantine agrees with you. He says, we need that in the store, Mike. So +1 from Constantine in the chat. All right, we got Andrew G. from the warehouse. My username says, when will Press-All industrial bottles be in stock? We have our order. It's ready to go with Press-All. They're just waiting. It's a matter of shipping, getting it over the ocean, getting it off the boat, that sort of thing. So my answer, unfortunately, is I have no idea. Greg Hansel also, that's a great idea. All right, so this is Andrew G. So Andrew, tell us, how long have you been here at OG?
I think a little close to like 2 years.
All right, so around 2 years. And what is your role currently? What are you doing now in the warehouse?
Oh, that's a lot of roles, but mainly just like pulling orders, just, putting together the orders. Mainly I'm locking up here, guys. I'm sorry. Making sure, everything functions pretty well around like when it goes to pulling orders, restocking the shelves. As pallets come in, we try to receive it and put it into the system and stuff like that.
All right. So basically, if somebody places an order, like I'm going to look right now. Who's the latest order here? I can expose this person. At 2:39, William Sashawn placed an order for $199.01. He ordered a 100-foot garden hose, 2 stainless steel couplers, and 2 stainless steel plugs. So, if you get that order, basically you're the one in charge of making sure all that's right.
Oh yeah.
All right. And so, how do you do that?
So
like, how have things changed basically since you've been here?
So when I first started pulling, it's definitely changed. So
Okay.
it was you have to know a lot of the small details that went into some of the kits, the packages, and all that. And now we've transitioned into our scanners, which have a lot of the kits and all the little small details already there for you. So it kind of takes a lot of the smaller thinking out of the equation for you. So now for that specific order, I'd go to see if we had a 100-foot garden hose, which currently we're out of right now. And then I'd make sure we had that. I'd get the stainless steel garden hose QDs for him. And then he also got 2 plugs as well.
Yep, 2 plugs, 2 couplers.
Yeah, so I just go, I'd go to where those we'd keep those products on the shelves, make sure we have it, and then if we don't have it, double check with my supervisor, make sure if he wants to split ship it. If it's coming soon, then we generally put it to the side and then try to fulfill it all together for the most part.
All right, and Dave here in the chat says he received his order today. Thanks, guys.
Hey, you're welcome, Dave.
Yeah, so Dave and everybody who gets an order, basically in there's a card that says it was packed by like Braylon or Alyssa or Janet or soon to be Jeff, different Jeff.
Different.
But what they don't see is you and Ted and Tim and whoever actually pulling the orders, right?
Yeah.
So before it gets packed, it gets pulled, and he's the one he's part of that, among many other things, as he said. Here's a good question you can answer for us, Andrew. This is from Guy B32 in the chat. On the daily, how many people show up at OG to make purchases of products? So what would you say on average?
Oh, on average, it depends, really, but...
Like today, let's think about today.
I was about to say, this week has probably been a busy week.
Mm-hmm.
This week could be a good example. I'd say maybe between 2 to 5 people almost every day. Maybe there was a day or two where we didn't have anybody come in, but then the 5 people who did come in the day before, the day after kind of made up for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we don't have a ton of local people who stop in, but we do have some pretty consistent people that come in. And then almost anytime someone who watches the channel, if they're in Orlando for like a conference or on vacation, a lot of times they'll drive up here and get some stuff. It's pretty cool, guys. So if you're ever in the area, definitely stop by.
Oh yeah.
Oh, here's a good question from C-Mac in the chat. And I'll kind of rephrase it in a way that makes more sense for what you're doing.
Please.
Is there one specific product or maybe a kit that you just dread when it comes to picking it or finding it or having to go into the other building to get it? What's one thing that you see it and you're like, oh, crap?
Okay, so I guess I have like 2 two answers for this
All right,
one.
give us
One
both.
is the custom install, just because there's a lot of components that go to that specific order.
Like with a piping package,
You get
especially.
a piping package. You have the the hoses, the gun and wand. There's the machines. There's just a lot that goes to it. But I've picked enough to now I can kind of. The piping package is the most pain, but that's not that hard. And then, other than that, I would maybe have to say Milwaukee, just because it's sometimes not organized, sometimes it is. So that can just be a little headache, but that's still fairly simple. Our scanners are our best friends most of the time. So.
Because basically the scanner's job, you scan it, and it'll tell you if you're right or wrong, right?
Yeah. If I scan the wrong item, it'll definitely flash me with an invalid scan.
Yeah, because we've got, I think, over 2,000 SKUs in the store. And so you're bound to every once in a while pick up the wrong thing. But when you go to scan it, it'll say, hey, Andrew, this is not what you want.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. I like that. Not SMG says, I got my order in yesterday. Everything was packed perfectly and arrived quickly. Thanks, OG crew. Nice. Thanks, not SMG. Tony wants to know, do you guys ship via USPS? Andrew knows the answer to that. What's the answer, Andrew?
Yes.
Yes, we do. We do priority mail. We do first class mail. You have that option most of the time when you place your order, depending on your address. I think pretty much anybody can get it via USPS. We also do UPS. And for our international customers, we have DHL. So those are the options. We'll soon be expanding some of our options in UPS. We'll see about that, though. Let's see here. What other question do you have? Here's a question for you, Andrew. So what is I know just today you placed an order, actually. You bought a couple things.
I did.
So are you someone who likes to take care of your car? Are you like, I can wash it every couple months? Or what's your story there on that stuff?
So I've gone through phases.
Okay.
I was a temporary detailer for dealership myself. So at that point, I was kind of washing my own car every week because I kind of had the material and a spot to do it, and it was just I kind of did it before I left work, and then I always had my car washed. Then when I ventured out of that industry, I kind of got into a different phase where I didn't really care how my car looked as long as it started. I kept up with the oil changes, the tires, brakes, stuff like that. And then now working with OG, you come into work and we got some very beautiful cars around here in the parking lot. So sometimes I get to thinking, I'm like, man, maybe I should start taking care of my car, but it's a little too late now. But I still try. I try to clean it the best that I can in my abilities, and we have amazing products here at OG, so I try my best.
All right, and what is your current cars? I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, yes. It is a
So what are you driving?
2015 Honda Civic, a little dad mobile, I call it, because I do all my dad things in that.
Nice. All right, so then what did you order today? Are you going to go home and wash today?
Oh, so today, yes. I washed my car yesterday, and I wasn't able to do like my hubcaps because I don't have rims, guys.
Okay.
My wheels, so I got a brake buster. I got a Tough Shine, our older Tough Shine. Now we have our Detail Factory one.
Right.
And I got 2 towels. So I'm going to go home and hopefully clean my tires and my hubcaps.
Gotcha. All right, last question that everyone's been asked so far. What's one thing that we have that we don't carry in the store, maybe that you like to use or that you think we should carry in the store when it comes to like detailing products, or is there anything out there like that for you?
So I don't know about a specific product,
Okay.
but I do have an idea.
All right, give us what you
That
got.
I have been bouncing off other people's minds around here in OG. I don't want to
Okay.
really go into it too much because there's some
We need to get a
swipers
patent lawyer
out
here.
there. Yeah, I
Okay.
gotta get some my people to patent this before I talk about it too much on
Okay,
air.
don't give
but
too much away then.
It's definitely something I got in the works, and I'm working on it.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, we won't reveal any more details.
Yeah.
Coming soon. All right, thanks, Andrew.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for stopping in. Next up, we got Tommy. Tommy G is stepping in, coming in from the On Deck Circle.
Yeah.
Welcome, Tommy.
Hello.
What's your current role here at OG, Tommy? What are you doing?
Product development director is my title. But I have a lot of
Yeah, get up to the microphone there, Tommy.
hello. I have a lot of different roles that I do, but basically I'm responsible for getting stuff on the online store.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm going to get to, before we get some questions in the chat here, I'm going to bring up a couple questions that other people have asked. So first of all, what are you currently driving? What's your,
I have a 2008 Mazda Speed 3.
and what is your, do you keep up with it in terms of washing it and maintaining it like that as much as some people around here? Are you kind of in the middle, or are you like, nah, once a year is good with me?
No, I'm probably definitely one of the ones that wash it most frequently, I would say.
Okay.
At least once a week. I know Manny washes his cars like 2 times a week, which is pretty nuts. I'm not that extreme, but yeah, once a week for sure.
Now, you helped me wash my car.
Yep.
Which Chase, to go back to Chase real quick, he mentioned Chase is a fellow tall guy. And he said, I didn't know you had an LS430, Chris. The best tall guy friendly car I've ever had. Good choice. I love my 2005. It is really, really roomy. You're right about that, Chase.
When we had the track day and he
Oh, yeah.
took us around as a limo ride, the back seat was so
Yeah.
so roomy. And I'm
Yeah.
short, so it felt like gigantic.
Yeah, and don't tell anybody the LS430 has been tracked, but when I go to sell it, that's not going to be in the item description.
Yeah.
So now you helped me wash the LS430 one time a couple months ago. So, and you have a different way of washing.
Yep.
So tell us quickly, just what is your wash process? Because everybody has kind of their own little thing they do.
Yeah.
So why is yours different? What do you do?
Well, honestly, me and Kyle share a very similar process.
Okay.
And the way I like to describe it is we're using a rinseless wash solution, but we're not really using it like a rinseless wash. So
Okay.
as Kyle described, we're using the pressure washer because, using a foam cannon and the pressure washer helps get most of the dirt and whatever is on the paint off the paint before you touch it. And so my mentality whenever I'm doing anything cleaning a car is to try to get as much of the bad stuff off before you make contact. Because, when you make contact, that's when you're putting in the micro scratches or, adding haze or whatever. So, you foam the car with a foam cannon and a pressure washer with the car dry. I found that when you do it dry, the soap isn't as diluted.
Okay.
And so it's a little bit stronger and it acts on the dirt a little better and also sticks to the car longer. And then thorough rinse. That's the biggest step. A lot of people, when they spray, they kind of just do it to get the car wet. But when you do a thorough rinse and are really pinpointing, where you're directing the spray, that's what cleans the car the best. Then after that, then credit it with the 914, and then dry the car in drying aid if you want to do that.
There you go. So, but 2 foamings, right? All right.
You can if you're doing a 2 bucket method. If you want to do normal soap, you can foam twice. So if you're wanting to do like with GSF or whatever, you could foam, rinse, and then foam again, then make contact.
Gotcha.
But yeah, right now I'm doing a 914 because it eliminates the final rinse step, which is time saving, and it's just kind of nice not to have to drag the pressure washer out again.
Now you have a couple fans here in the chat because Constantine says, yes, brother. Miss my 08 Speed 3. Love that thing.
Yeah, it's fun. It's an underdog car for sure.
And then Philippe, our Canadian buddy, says, I have a 2012 Mazda 3 Sky Active, and it's my cheap man's race car. Zoom, zoom. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, I'm kind of frustrated with Mazda. They had, pretty cool program with the speed stuff, and they're kind of gone away from that, which is kind of a bummer. Because, the Speed 3 is a pretty cool car, and they don't do anything really performance other than Miata now. So.
All right, now this is kind of a loaded question to ask Tommy, but I'm going to ask him anyway, because one of your main things you're doing now is finding new products, right?
Yep.
So a question that a lot of people have asked here is, what's one product that you would like to see in the OG store that isn't in the OG store?
I've got a bunch.
Yeah.
But I'll keep it short.
Give me your first couple.
Yeah, Grail's interior cleaner for sure. So I think Kyle mentioned
Kyle
that.
mentioned that one. Okay.
That's really good. Scent free, dye free, clean smell, doesn't streak. But vacuums. So that's actually something
Okay.
I'm actively working on. So coming soon. I don't know how long it will be, but I feel like everything that most consumers know about vacuum wise, like they're all the same. So whether you get a rigid or a shop vac or whatever, they're all kind of the same. And so there's no like wow factor. So I'm researching pretty hard on finding like the Krenzel equivalent of a vacuum. So I have a couple things in mind, but yeah.
And that will bring great joy to many of our customers because we get that question almost weekly about a vacuum solution. So that's kind of on the top of Tommy's list right now.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, here's a good question from my WRX channel that I could probably answer. How much inventory does Matt steal from OG on any given month? Yeah, he's gotten better, but then he'll also now rather than just come over and steal it from the warehouse, he'll just order a pallet of something. And so he's like, okay, well, here's my pallet, and that's what he does. Yeah. As I mentioned earlier, though, I don't know if you counted, Tommy. There are 26 tires next door, and there are 22 wheels next door, and only one car. So now he doesn't really steal from inventory. He mainly just buys new stuff.
Yeah, it kind of comes in waves. I mean, there's a point when he didn't have as many cars, but now he's kind of got a lot going on. So that's obviously will ramp up, the products he takes.
All right, let's see here from Jesse in the chat. Hey, Tommy. What college did you go to, if you went, and what made you want to work at OG?
So I went to Boise State University. I went for mechanical engineering, and after I graduated, I struggled finding an engineering job, and so I was car detailing on the side and doing a bunch of little small jobs. But through that, I knew that I could always learn more, and so I went to YouTube and was looking at Larry Ammo NYC videos and learning as much as I could, and through that found Matt, and then fell in love with Matt's process, and then I joined the Facebook group, and then I saw that he was offering a position, and it kind of just perfectly worked out. So yeah, that's how I found OG, was through YouTube, like probably most of the people that work here. And yeah.
And then what was your first role when you came here? You didn't come in, obviously, doing what you're doing now.
No, yeah, I started as a warehouse worker, actually. So I started in warehouse. I was a picker, so I picked orders with Andrew. Andrew trained me up. And, from there, I went to tech support because they needed a lot of help there. And then from there, I took over technical support when Kyle transitioned to garage design. And then, there's a need for helping getting all these ideas that Matt has in his head out to the world. And so that's my role now.
All right, let's see. Constantine echoes your sentiments about Mazda. He said, agree. Wish they would do it again. We get it. You make pretty cars, but let's get a speed back.
Yep.
There you go. Yum Cars, 10 pounds sterling. I don't know what that is in U.S. dollars. Privet Mike from the UK. Hope you're loving your new car. I'm guessing he's aiming that at Matt.
Yeah.
As far as I know, he's enjoying the M2 so far.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems a cool car. I really like that one. I probably like that over the M3. It's on the the F series chassis, so it's like the M3 that Figueira has. but it just looks and feels smaller, even though they weigh the same. We found they weigh the same, which doesn't make sense to me because the M3 is 4 doors and the M2 is 2 doors. But
Interesting.
yeah.
All right, here's a couple vacuum ideas for you.
Okay.
Philippe, rigid vacuum is the best vac with the rigid detail kit.
Yeah, that's actually what I have at my house. So I have the little rigid boy. That's what I'm using now. And the detail kit is good. But again, that's more, I think, aligned with what we would consider entry level.
Okay. Obsessed Mobile Detailing says Krensla has a vacuum. Maybe you could talk them into making a U.S. plug model. I've seen and heard about that. Have you seen that?
Yeah, we have seen it. I don't know how much they know about vacuums. I mean, I don't know. It seems like their wheelhouse is more pressure washing.
All right. How about, or what about Metro Master Blaster or something like that made for OG? Have you used that? I've heard of that.
I haven't personally used it. Robert, one of our guys, does have one. I don't think it's, again, anything special. Matt doesn't like it for drying a car because dragging a hose around the car is kind of annoying. And I kind of agree with him. I'd rather use the Ego Blower. But, yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I think there's something better. I want like a vacuum to like suck my face off, like be the most powerful thing out there.
Gotcha. All right, let's see. Jesse, who asked a question about your college, said, "That's awesome. I'm also at Boise State and doing mechanical engineering."
Oh,
It's
congrats.
like a little Tommy Jr.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat as you. Finding a mechanical engineering job is tough. According to Jesse. I don't know what Brad was saying there. I'm focusing on this. Morgan says...
Yeah, we're... what
is he saying?
Internships.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
we'll mention that in a second.
Yeah.
Let me get one more thing here. For Morgan, thoughts on the wall mounted like a vacuum aid. Seen several OG members using it in their garage.
Again, that's closer. Vacuum aid wall mount setup is good, and you can utilize the Cox vacuum reel, which is the go-to basically if you're wanting to do a wall mount vacuum setup. But again, there's something better out there than vacuum aid. We just need to find it. But I think we're getting close. I found a couple things, so I'm keeping it hush because I don't want to let it out yet,
don't give anything away.
Yeah,
you and Andrew both have secrets. That's good.
Yeah.
All right, Ethan C. This leads into what Brad was saying. Wants to know, did you get an internship? I'm at Purdue in mechanical engineering. Hopefully I get a good internship to line me up for a job. So first of all, did you do any internships while you're in college?
So no. So that's part of the reason why I struggled to find a job after I graduated. So if you're in college, do an internship. It's extremely valuable. And, looking back, it's definitely something I wish I did. I was just not in the right mindset at the time. So if you can do one for sure.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense no matter what field you're in. Go practice. If you're awesome, they'll see you're awesome, and they won't let you ever go anywhere else. They'll say, we want you here. If you're not awesome, they'll say, okay, good luck. Go somewhere else, and then you learn, hey, that place isn't for me.
Yeah.
Kind of simple. Let's see. Now, speaking of that, Brad was wanting to talk about internships. So what do you know about internships? What's the story with them here at OG? What does that look like?
Well, it's something we haven't done yet, but I think it could be something that's very valuable both to us and the person that's an intern. It kind of gives both parties a chance to kind of try each other out, and you can learn a lot of stuff. We're at a point now where we have pretty well-defined departments and roles, and so utilizing internships to help out when we need it during busy times, especially in the summer and stuff, is definitely something we want to explore. So I know Brad has an internship this summer that we have fulfilled.
Andrew's coming down from Syracuse.
Yeah. And it's something that all the other departments are probably going to be doing as well.
Yeah, and for those of you out there, because Matt and I get emails, we've gotten emails since the very beginning asking about interns, and back then, and Matt says it in a better way than I can, that, we got emails in the beginning, and he didn't want to bring anybody on as an intern because we didn't have anything set up for him. We didn't have any sort of curriculum. We had no idea.
Correct.
Not that you need a curriculum, but he didn't want to say, hey, welcome, intern, go figure out a way to rearrange the dumpster. Or
exactly.
Go do all these menial tasks. That's not what we want to do. And so now as we've grown and as we've created departments, we have a lot more opportunity to utilize an intern in a way that benefits us and them.
Correct.
Which is kind of the best way to do it.
Yeah. For sure.
All right. So before we have Manny on deck, Manny is he's waiting in the wings, so we'll get one more question here. Let's see. This is from Obsessed Mobile Detailing. Will the 50-foot Cobra Jet hose fit on the Cox air hose reel? I want the retractable feature for pressure washing. Have we tried that?
No, and you don't want it. retractable reels, while they seem like they would be helpful, they didn't, and they end up just being more of a pain. So we sell the hand crank reel for pressure washing, and it's for a reason, because it's the best one for sure.
Yeah, I saw that come up with the Facebook group actually recently, and several people had the same experience.
Yeah.
Don't do it. It breaks, and then you're stuck. Just use a hand crank reel because your hand is going to work all the time.
Yep, definitely.
All right, and let's see. Toda chimed in the chat. Video team is looking for a visual effects person.
Oh, there you go.
Parentheses, DaVinci Fusion / After Effects. So if you're out there and interested, Toda at obsessedgarage.com. Email him. All right, thanks, Tommy.
Awesome.
Appreciate you stopping by. Manny is up next. Manny is now kind of the lead for technical support. So he's going to join us to get your questions ready. Manny is also the one. Your $100 super chat is still floating there. That's
I purposely did that so I could stay up there the full hour.
that's good stuff. All right, so Manny, what is your technical title right now? Get close to the mic. Tell us about what you're doing here at OG right now.
Yeah, so I'm the technical support lead here at Obsessed Garage. Basically take care of all your issues that come in, shipping questions, order fulfillment, your normal pressure washer questions, product questions, a little bit of everything. So.
And you've been here not quite a year now, right?
It's going to be a year on June 8th or 9th.
Okay.
I'm sure.
And then when you came here, you came from where? Kind of what's a quick background on where you came from, what you're doing?
So I came from New Jersey. I was a general manager at Advanced Auto Parts. So I was managing a couple of stores there. So I was just tired of the whole retail game. And I saw that OG had an open job opportunity that I was watching one day on a Friday podcast. And I decided hey, let me take a shot at it. And here I am today on a Friday podcast doing that very same thing.
All right, now Tommy just mentioned that he washes his car probably once a week, but then he said you might wash yours twice a week. So what everybody's kind of asking here is tell us about your process. How does that look for you? Are you super into keeping things clean? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I have my process pretty much mimics Matt. I'll start out with the wheels. Use brake buster on foam cannon. Foam the car. Well, I'll rinse the car very thoroughly. I'll probably spend about 5-10 minutes sometimes rinsing the car. Then I'll move on to the foaming process. I'll let it dwell for about 10 minutes on there, and then your typical 2-bucket method with a GSF. So then finish off with the Ego blower, and then just top it off with some drying aid. It's simple, it works, at least for me anyway. Keeps the car clean. I also clean it maybe twice a week, depends if it rains the day before.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually wash it on either Sundays, but if it rains Monday, I have to wash it Tuesday. That's a big pet peeve of mine. It's I hate driving around in a dirty car. So sometimes if I see that the car's too dirty, I purposely won't even drive it. Yeah, it's it's a very bad affliction. So I also have OCD, and to me, it pretty much ruins my day if my car isn't clean. So.
All right, Bruce in the chat says, "Hey Manny, please bring the microphone closer. It's hard to hear you. So get right on the mic now. What kind of car does Manny drive?"
I drive a 2018 Audi TTRS. That's my daily / weekend car, but I'm also driving a 2019 Audi SQ5. So that's what I've been using regularly. So they're both pretty fun.
Gotcha. All right, here's a good question from our very own Mike T in the chat. What is the worst / dumbest question you've ever received in support?
Oh boy,
there's a lot to choose from there.
Yeah.
See, everyone who's worked in support, myself included, it was me at first. It was Matt technically at first, and then me, and then Kyle kind of grew it. And there's a couple people, and now there's Daniel.
You have Daniel, Nick, me,
and you.
Yeah.
And then others kind of jump in maybe from time to time.
Yeah.
But everybody has at least one person whose name, when you say that customer's name, they turn all red and angry, or they say they roll their eyes like, oh no, not that guy again. All right, so what's a question maybe that you saw and you're like, man, is this guy for real? Or this lady? It could have been a lady. I don't know. Got anything you can share there?
kind of don't want to blow up this guy's spot. I'm definitely not going to mention names.
No names. Or what's a question that we get way too often in support? Maybe that
well,
we could,
besides, where's my Krenzla?
yeah, that's a popular question.
Wow, it's hard. Like we get a lot of questions. I'll probably say the number one. It's kind of hard. Like I said, there's so many, but I don't want to throw anybody under the bus.
All right.
There's one that I have in mind, but
that person would know is okay. All right, here's a couple good questions for you. If you had to pick one of the cars that Matt has to daily drive, which one would you choose? Improved Garage wants to know.
It would be the GT4 all day.
Gotcha. Easy choice?
Easy choice.
All right. You are also on the carnivore diet like Matt is every once in a while. So how's that going?
So I've been on the carnivore diet since March 1st. I've been very rigorous with it. It's all meat, bacon, eggs, very little dairy. I consider dairy my cheat meal, if you will. So I've lost to date 32 pounds.
Dang. Since March 1st?
Yeah, since March 1st.
Awesome.
I helped it also a lot with my couple of mental issues, helped with my anxiety, helped also with my depression, believe it or not. I didn't have crazy depression, but it was enough for me to worry about it a little bit. Yeah, it's been great. I have no inflammation on my joints. I'm able to do walks around the block without, experiencing any issues, any knee pain or anything like that. So
nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, blood pressure's been down.
Good work.
My vitals are all great. Believe it or not, I actually stopped taking allergy medicine that I used to take because of my dog. So it's been great. It's actually been life changing for me. So
excellent.
It's great.
See, Matt, if you just stick to it, maybe it'd work. Ethan C says, "Nice TTRS. Do you have any mods?"
Yeah. So right now I'm currently tuned with Unitronic. I have a Stage 1 Plus. So hopefully I'm moving to a place that has E85 close by. So definitely going to go on that, which will make it pretty fast. So.
All right, Improved Garage, by the way, had a super chat, $9.99 US. Really enjoyed the live stream today. Excellent. I'm glad we did it then. He says, Manny, I think you have a vacuum system I saw on the Facebook group. Is that true?
Yeah. So I have the Cox vacuum reel, but it's hooked up to a shop vac. Just your normal shop vac, but it is the wall mounted version. So.
And then how's that working out? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? What's the deal?
I like it. Like, it's good for I basically just use it for cars. I don't do any like floors with it or any like thick carpet. It's mostly just for floor mats, stuff like that. So for me, it's working great.
All right, and is it the Cox hose on the hose reel, or is it a different hose?
Yes, it is the Cox hose on it.
Gotcha. All right, now what's one product that you like or you use that you think should be in the OG store but is not?
For me, it's going to be the Quick Jacks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that the one Matt always makes fun of, or is that a different one?
That is the one that Matt always makes fun of.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And they're not even here in the chat today. I don't see them yet
No.
to thank you for that, Manny.
Yeah.
But, okay, so what do you use it for? Why do you like them?
I use it for anything. Yeah, from exhaust installs to working on the underside of the car. If I'm doing anything like subframe things, if I'm doing suspension, if I'm doing brakes. I also use it for detailing. So if I'm doing like a wheels off detailing, it's great. I'll wash right on top of the Quick Jacks. You know, I usually do wheels off maybe once or twice a month, just so I could get a thorough cleaning of the calipers and suspension parts, the inner barrels of the wheels. So yeah, it's great. Like, I've had it for about 3 weeks now, and it's awesome. Like, great.
All right, somebody asked about here because I think Matt mentioned last week that you and he put some new wheels on tires or something. Use his fancy Hunter tire balancing machine. So how's that going? Did he completely screw it up, or are they just
no? No, actually, Matt did a pretty good job.
Okay.
Did a pretty good job in teaching me. So he did the first 2 wheels, and I did the last 2 wheels, and they were perfect. So I was swapping out the factory Pirellis, the P0s, which are not a very good tire, at least not on my platform. Swapped them over to some Michelin P4Ss. So
great tire, super grippy, and super confident in them. So
Nice. Okay. Let's see. Ken Jeeper in the chat says he's debating a TTRS or RS5. Is that what you? Are those the two that you have or no? What's the other one you got?
I have the SQ5, which is the SUV.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. So, do you have any thoughts on the RS5 versus your TTRS?
The RS5. My wife was actually looking at an RS5 before we got the SQ5. The reason why we did not get one because we wanted a much bigger car, and at the time they did not have any RSQ8s available. They actually came out the year after. So, because my wife, like Mike's fiance, like my wife does not like big cars. So she's always had smaller cars. She had GTIs. So she had like little like Civics and stuff like that. So she does not like big cars at all. So when she test drove the RS5 that they had in the showroom, she wasn't a fan of it. So
Gotcha.
but she did love the power though.
You're not alone, Manny, in your appreciation for Quick Jacks.
Yeah.
Andre in the chat says, love my Quick Jacks too. I really appreciate the fact that they are fairly portable. So where do you put yours? Are they like hanging on the wall? How do you store yours?
Yeah, so my Quick Jacks came with the Quick Jacks hangers. So I just basically put the hangers up and they're just hanging in the wall. They come out about 2 inches off the wall, so no problem. And plus I also have Swiss tracks as well. So they're super easy to drag around the Swiss tracks. It's great.
My WRX channel says, I remember Matt hating the Quick Jacks, but I love mine. So there you go.
Yeah, Matt doesn't know what he's talking about.
Super chat here from Alligator Window 10, our buddy Martin, $5 US. As someone who has also made big weight loss progress in their life, congrats on 30 plus pounds. Stay consistent. Nice.
Thank you.
So do you have a goal, or are you just going to maintain this forever and whittle yourself down to nothing? What's the end goal?
So my initial goal, I thought carnivore diet. It's like, I'm like, you know what? I'll give it 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I saw the improvements, come every week. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna stick to this. I'm like, all right, let me give it a month. So a month came. I'm like, this is great. I'm losing weight. I'm eating like great food, like meat based. Like I love cooking. I love grilling. So I'm like, hey, let's go longer. Let's see how long I could do this. Like I haven't. For people that have asked, like, oh, are you getting tired of meat? Like, definitely not. Like I love meat. So. Yeah, like it's been doing great. Like my end goal is 180 pounds. So
for your body weight, 100, or to lose?
For my body weight.
So, all right. And where were you? If you don't mind me asking, where did you start?
So I started at 298.
Okay. Oh man, that's awesome.
So right now I'm at 266.6.
Very nice. And how often are you weighing in? Daily or weekly? How's it?
Just do it weekly.
Nice. Yeah. All right, Bruce Hunt here in the chat says, congrats, Manny. Keep up the good work. I've lost 30 pounds as well. 60 more to go. So there you go. That's awesome. Let's see. Oh, I want to know. I have a question for you. Chris H. from Ocala has a question. So I also like meat. I love a good thick ribeye. What is your favorite cut of meat? What is your favorite way to prepare it? What's your your go-to if you had one to do? What are you looking at?
So for me, it's definitely going to be a ribeye.
Good choice.
Rare. And yeah, definitely rare. Sometimes it also depends on where you go. Some places you'll ask for a medium rare, and they'll give you a well done. So usually to be on the safe side, I ask for rare everywhere I go. So
now, if you're cooking at home, do you have like the temperature?
Yes. So usually if I'm doing it at home, I'll do like a reverse sear. So I got the whole thermometer. So for me, it's 130 degrees all day.
Gotcha. And your wife? Is she participating in this diet as well, or is she kind of humoring you? What's her?
No, like so before the carnivore diet, we were doing like a ketogenic diet. So she lost a whole bunch of weight on that. Well, she wasn't really a big girl anyway. So she just did it for the mental clarity and focus that it gave her. Like we were sick and tired of doing processed foods, sugars and all that. So she eats more of like a whole foods diet. So anything that comes in a box, she does not eat. So and it's been great on her. So and I just didn't like vegetables, so I'm like carnivore. That's the carnivore diet for me. It's great. So
that's awesome. Let's see. Here's a good question from Morgan. Do you use sauces, etc., on or with the meat?
So on the carnivore diet, you're really not allowed to use any sauces or anything like that. Just basically salt and water.
No marinades or anything like that.
No marinades. Usually, if your cut of meat is pretty good, most of the time you'll just need salt. So, but if I am gonna do a sauce, it'll probably be like a chimichurri, but I haven't done that in a while, because carnivore. But yeah, usually if I'm doing it at home, just a pinch of garlic, usually a pinch of like garlic powder and just salt. So,
All right, I got 2 questions for you here. Then is Manny the last one? Okay, then are you going? Oh, okay. Yeah, Brad is up next. So get your questions ready for Brad. So first of all, not SMG. Congrats on the weight loss. I've been doing keto myself. It has helped me lose a bunch of weight along with cardio and lifting. Carnivore diet seems a little too extreme for me. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I can imagine that. And then from
give it a
CMAC,
shot.
yeah, give it a try.
Give it a try for a week.
CMAC wants to know, because he's seen pictures probably, how's your home audio setup? What does that look like?
My home audio is growing it's growing.
What does it look like right now?
So right now I'm in a rental, so a lot of stuff is still brand new in box. So have a whole bunch of Klipsch gear, have a whole bunch of Anthem amps and preamps. We just got SVS in, so I'm looking to maybe upgrade my subs. So
yeah,
who knows?
We have 2 pallets worth of SBS. Just what we need. More subs.
Yeah,
around here.
I can't wait.
Yeah. Last question here for me from JC in Puerto Rico. Have you tried how do you say it? Wagyu beef?
Oh yeah, of course.
All right, and what do you think of that? Is it worth the extra price? Is it just
Yes, I think so. Like the flavor profile is great. Great marbling, of course. If you're more into the fattier cuts of meat and don't mind, like they're great. The flavor's awesome.
All right, last question. Another one from Chris H in Ocala. So around here, in like let's say a 30 to 45 minute radius, what's your favorite place to go for a steak that you found so far?
Around here, it's going. Believe it or not, it's actually going to be Prima Steakhouse in the Villages.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they came out with the cut of meat that I wanted. Make sure like raw.
Right.
Make sure like that's what I want. I'm like, yep, that's great. They asked me how I wanted it cooked. Just asked if I was short because barely anybody gets rare. So yeah, it was actually pretty good. So we went there a couple of times already, and
nice.
Awesome flavor.
All right, I have tried out. I haven't been there. All right, well, thanks, Manny. I
All right.
appreciate you stopping in. We got Waba in next, a surprise replacement here at the last minute, pinch hitting. So there's actually a question for you already, Waba. So let me scroll back up and I can find it here. This
I
is.
do have a request to make here, Chris. That
Get close to the microphone so the
yeah,
people can hear you.
The request is that I'm brief, and
You're
that,
brief?
That Trevor takes a spotlight as well. He
Okay.
was really itching.
So
to
you
get on
then
the
Trevor.
podcast.
Brevity for you. We can do that. All right. So, well, I remember part of the question. I can't find it, but it's basically if somebody asks Waba, if they're like, "What do you do?" without getting too into the weeds, what do you tell them? Beside, like, basically a simple way to put, I make fancy films of fancy cars for fancy people or something like that. So, what is your?
So
what do you
like,
do?
Yeah, if somebody asked me what I do for a living,
Yeah.
there's a little bit of a there's a lot of kind of, I think of it like a puzzle. There's so many different things to filmmaking in general.
There's the question, by the way.
Okay.
When people ask him what he does for a living, how does he explain the actual complexity of it as a cinematographer working in a company like OG?
Okay, so he's referring to the cinematography aspect here. So, I mean, generally, cinematography is sort of this puzzle, right? And so I don't think a lot of people know kind of what cinematography really is until they really start to see kind of what is all involved. But generally, it's kind of like putting together a puzzle, and you, as a cinematographer, I mean, in like commercial production, that person is in charge of like where the camera goes, how the camera moves, the lighting decisions, and just generally how things look and feel from that standpoint. And then you're considering all the challenges like of the location, of the timing, the schedule, and then also you have the challenges of like the client, what they want and what maybe the director wants and what the producers want. So you're problem solving. And so as it pertains to Obsessed Garage, we have sort of a different set of challenges in the sense of like, we have such an important role in what we do as far as the videos go and how people perceive what we're creating, and how they view our products and how Matt displays things and how it needs to remain equally as obsessed as the product it is that we're kind of talking about, or sharing, or trying to inform people about. And so I think there is just sort of a juggling of that. And so, there's so many different things that are involved with that, and not every video can be like this masterpiece production in this environment. And so that's like just a personal challenge as an artist. And I think every artist will have that. So, but that's just generally kind of like some of the obstacles that you'd face as a cinematographer working in an organization like this, which is just very different than, say, like a typical production environment,
All right, now, how are you? Well, first of all, what car are you driving today? Because Baba has a couple of vehicles.
Yeah,
So
I'm driving a 2006 Toyota Tundra Double Cab Limited. She's got 194,000 miles on it, four-wheel drive. Has to be
Four-wheel
four-wheel
Friday,
drive.
yeah.
Yeah, it's four-wheel Friday. So
Nice.
Brad is sitting in front of me here. He's the four-wheel Friday expert.
And then what is your process like? Do you care about detailing your cars? Do you wash some of them often? Do you never wash them? What's your deal?
I'm sort of this hybrid,
Okay.
where I really do care. I want my cars to be clean, but I don't dedicate the time to do it. So it, like for example, I have a E39 M5 that has been probably not washed in about maybe 6 to 7 months, just collecting dust. But it stresses me out just knowing that it's dirty. So I have that challenge. I really want it to be clean, and I invest, in rejuvenation and buying parts to make it look really good. But I physically don't do the labor as often as I should,
Gotcha. All right, now, same question that I've had for some others. So when you go through that washing process, what's one product maybe that you use that we don't have in the OG store that should be in the OG store?
Yeah, I don't think I have any. I think all of the products that I use, we sell. I used to use, what is that, Colonite 845 with the wax.
All right.
And that was when I
Chest
actually
guard
first... Yeah, that was how I first found Obsessed Garage. Actually, I was looking at how to wax my E36 M3, and that was what brought me to the Obsessed Garage channel. So yeah, I can't say... I think I learned everything about detailing from Obsessed Garage.
Okay. All right, question from C-Mac for you. Does Waba appreciate cinematography and movies? Does he have any favorite films?
Yeah, I don't appreciate cinematography at all. It's just the worst part about filmmaking. No, I mean, I think there's so many different films that I really do appreciate for different things. So there's some that are beautiful in the sense of like each frame is beautiful and each shot is beautiful. So Interstellar was one of those films for me that had that sort of feel. But like 1917 is a different look. It's not as beautiful in that sense, but as far as like camera movement and how to pull off some of the things they did, that's an absolute masterpiece in other ways. So there's a lot. It just kind of depends on what the film is really. How does it feel as a whole, and then what are the elements of that cinematography that really spoke to me? So but there's endless. I mean, there's just two that for me are stand out, but there's a lot.
Okay. So last question here, because I know you want to be brief, and Trevor just walked in. Trevor's on deck.
Yeah, I really want Trevor to take the stage, and then
All right.
Brad, because I can't kick Brad out. He offered me to be here, so
Toda says Blade Runner. I guess he's a fan of Blade Runner.
yeah, that's huge. That's
All right.
another one. See, I couldn't think of all of them. There's so many.
One of my personal favorites when it comes to cinematography, anyway, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of the Ooze.
That's
If you haven't seen that,
that's good, Chris.
worth checking out.
I like that.
I'm telling you.
You appreciate it for the cinematography.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Vanilla Ice, his scene is classic. The way they shot it, the lighting, everything.
Yep.
All right, and Manny says, bring back his Topo Chico bottle, or however you pronounce that.
Okay,
There you go.
yep,
It's fancy water.
No worries.
All right, so you've been here, what, 2 years-ish?
Yeah.
In
May
May, I think
4th is
yeah.
going to be my anniversary here for 2 years.
Star Wars Day.
Yep.
So, what is your 2 years from now? What do you think? What's the plan? What do you want things to look like for you professionally?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's we've only really scratched the surface, honestly, when it comes to what we're producing and how we're creating content. There's going to be a lot of continual growth and evolution for how things look. I think most importantly, we have to remain consistent and authentic. That was probably the biggest thing to Matt when he brought me on, was we don't want to lose the essence of what we're doing. So while I'd love to make every video a 5-minute masterpiece on like Sonic MSS and just show you all the cool angles and lighting of it, ultimately we still have to remain authentic to what makes Obsessed Garage. So there's a huge responsibility on us as a team to do that. And so I think we need to continue to evolve what that means, and produce content that continues to tap into a new audience but remain authentic to what Obsessed Garage is. So we'll have different series that come out, Wash and Drive, the Chronicles of a Master series, that are just going to be entertainment value based, but also when it comes to how we produce our product videos, producing them in a way that's still OG, but just evolve that, make it look better, feel better, really put the consumer in the position of like, well, I really understand how to use this. I really want to use it and try it because I can see tangibly on film how it makes a difference on my car, or whatever the thing is, if it makes the garage look better or transform. I mean, we have great videos on that, like the Atlanta build that you could see before and afters and things like that really help translate what a garage can do for you, more than just hey, this is the Sonic tool.
Yeah, buy this cabinet.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Thanks
Cool.
for your time, Waba.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Don't forget Manny's
That's right.
mineral water, carbonated mineral water. So we got Trevor here on deck. Trevor started with us in August of last year, if memory serves me.
Yes.
Made the move from California. So someone asked earlier if Bryce was the farthest transplant coming, but Bryce kind of lived here.
Yep.
Although originally from Indiana, I think. So Trevor, you came from California.
Yep.
And what are you doing here now at OG? What's your story here? real
So
quick?
my role at OG currently is I am in charge of shipping and the logistics with that. So basically the pickers will pick the order.
So that's Andrew.
Yep, Andrew, Ted, Tim, and they'll pick the order. And then the packers, which is Braylon, Alyssa, we got Jeff now, and then Janet, of course. They'll pack all the orders, and then they'll send them to me once they're boxed up. And I will enter the dimensions of the box, the weight, basically all the details of it, and I'll print out a shipping label, put it on the box. I'm basically the last step before it gets to UPS and gets shipped out. So that's currently what I'm doing.
Gotcha.
And then, from California, made the move here about 6 months ago with my dad, Mike Figuera. I'm sure everybody's familiar with that guy. So that's my dad. And, we made the move about 6 months ago to come work for OG and never looked back.
How are you liking it so far?
I love
Florida versus California, let's say.
The humidity's something to get used to for sure.
It gets worse, don't worry.
Yeah, I know it does. And but I will say, all in all, I love Florida. California's great, but yeah, Florida is where it's at. So.
All right, now I'm going to ask you a couple questions that I've asked of several people here. So first of all, what are you driving? What's your
I have two vehicles.
Okay.
The first one is a 05 Toyota Tundra that my dad handed down to me. Just reached 400,000 miles.
Nice.
Truck's immaculate. It's great. And then my other car, which is my personal vehicle, I have an 06 Honda S2000, which that's my baby. That's my pride and joy.
And I sat in it one day.
Yep.
It didn't go so well.
Yeah, Chris, you're a little too tall for that car.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, now, how are you in terms of when it comes to washing your car, maintaining it that way? Are you someone who likes to do that often, or you don't care? What's your story there?
I'm pretty big into it. I would say a couple of years ago, right when I started to find Obsessed Garage and watching the YouTube videos, has kind of transitioned me, and that's when I got really big into it. So I'm pretty anal about washing my car and making sure it's immaculate and the best it can be at all times.
All right, so what's one product then that you use in your process that maybe we don't carry here that you think we ought to carry here? Is there something?
Ooh, honestly, no. I use all the products that I use or we carry here, and that's all I really need, to be honest. They're great.
Gotcha.
I use them all the time, every time I wash my car.
See, some of those guys next door, they experiment with other stuff, and they're ashamed to say which shampoo they use because you can get it at Walmart.
Right.
But hey, we all use different things.
Yeah, right. And GSF is honestly the best shampoo, car shampoo, in my opinion. So
there you go.
Yep.
All right, we have a question here. What's the best part of having Mike F as your dad? Does he come over and fix everything at your house or your apartment too?
Yeah, so that guy, he can fix just about anything. There's not much he can't do. So definitely one of the biggest perks to having him as my dad is any problems that I can't do or can't handle, I'm just like, hey, Dad, can you come fix this? And he's like, oh, yep, I can do that for you. No problem. So, which is really cool.
Now, are you inclined the same way, or is that something you even care about doing? You're like, nah, I don't want to do this.
For the most, I mean, he teaches me a lot, and I try to learn. But as far as I feel like Mike F, he just has a gift with, like, he's just naturally gifted in that aspect. So I mean, he tries to teach me, and I learn. But yeah, he's great. He can do anything. It's crazy.
Gotcha. Yeah. See, every once in a while, my teacher inside me comes out, and somebody will ask me a question, and I'll ask them, "Do you want the answer, or do you want to know how to get the answer?"
Right.
And more often than not, just give me the answer. I don't care.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like if Mike were to come over and do some stuff at my house, he might be like, "You want me to teach you how to do this?" But like, no.
Yeah.
Just do it. I don't care. Just do your thing. That's
For
fine.
sure.
Understood.
Yep.
Let's see here. What else do we have in the? Oh, Glenn in the chat has a compliment for us. That's nice. Great to see the crew behind the success at OG. Engine that keeps OG moving forward. Thanks, Glenn.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of cool this just happened to work out this way that Matt couldn't make it today, so now we're rolling through people, and we're with Trevor. Constantine, great episode. Love seeing and getting to know everyone there. Very happy you guys did this and kept the podcast as scheduled. Thank you. Oh, here's a good question from Greg. Who's the better motorcycle rider, you or Mike F?
Definitely Mike F.
Oh, the old man still got it.
Yep. I think he's 51 now, and I can't even keep up with him. He tells me all the time. It's funny. He's like, I'll be ripping at 65 years old, and honestly, I believe it. It is hard to keep up with that guy. He acts like he's 25 on a dirt bike. It's crazy.
All right. So what dirt bikes do you guys have?
So he has a 450 R, Honda 450R. And then I had a Yamaha 250, but I actually sold it right before I came here because I was making the move here, and I knew I wasn't going to have as much time. Not as many hills in Florida, right? It's kind of flat. But eventually I'd like to get back into it and get another bike. But
have you guys ridden much here?
No, not at all, actually. I mean, he's got property where he can ride. So I think he definitely wants to do that, but yeah, I don't think either of us have ridden since we've gotten here. We've just been working.
Too busy building closets.
Exactly.
All right, my WRX channel says your S2000 versus Dad's F80.
Oh, man. I mean, as far as in a straight line, the F80 is going to see you later to the S2000. The S2000 is not a fast car in the straight lines.
It's just fun to drive, though?
Yeah, really fun to drive. It's made for the twisties, which in California we had a bunch of back roads. We had mountains all over the place, so the back roads were literally 15 minutes away. So that's really where kind of my car shines as far as the S2000 goes.
All right, little known fact about Trevor here. So you worked at Starbucks for a number of years, right?
I did. I worked. That was my first job. I've only had 2 jobs. I worked at Starbucks. Was my first job, 6.5 years, and then I knew I wanted to be a police officer in California. And then there was a couple deciding factors where I kind of was leaning out of it a little bit, and then that's when the OG. The Obsessed Garage idea came into me and my dad's heads, and he was talking about possibly moving to Florida, and I kind of jumped on board, and I was like, I'll go with you, let's do it. So here we are.
All right, so what's your go-to drink at Starbucks now?
My go-to
you have a
drink.
Special secret code that you tell them?
No. I'm pretty simple. You know,
Okay.
We working at Starbucks, I've had some crazy.
So you probably
orders.
tried everything.
Oh yeah,
right?
for sure.
Okay.
But no, I'm simple. I get regular iced coffee, a little vanilla, and some cream. Call it a day. You know, $2.75. Not breaking my bank account.
That's funny. Now I heard you tell a story the other day in the warehouse about a lady who would come in once a week and order some weird. What was her?
Yeah,
her
so
order
it
that she
was
had?
it was a lady. It was a regular lady. She would come in about once a week, and she would get a venti iced beverage, which that included 44 pumps of vanilla and 25 shots of espresso, and it would fill it right to the tippy top. No ice, nothing, just espresso shots and vanilla flavoring. And yeah, she's a little crazy for that one.
See, well, we beat Greg to his question here. What's the craziest order you had?
That's probably the cream of the crop right there. That I want to say that drink just by itself was, oh god.
I was gonna say, what's the cost?
It's very expensive, probably $60-$70, something like that. Yeah, for one drink. She told us though that she lived far away, and so what she would do is she would take that drink and she would put it in her fridge, and each morning she would kind of just dilute it and make herself a little cup and just pour a little of the espresso shots and the vanilla into it and kind of make her own coffee. So
interesting. So that would last her all week.
Yep, exactly.
All right, C-Mac, I heard you talking about this earlier today. He wants to know, where do you think the 123-mile S2000 CR will end on Bring a Trailer? So it's over 100K right now,
Yeah,
right?
So that S2000, I actually followed the guy on Instagram who has it currently. And, it's got 123 miles, and it's a CR. So the best of the best. Immaculate condition, obviously. It's 100 miles. So the guy basically bought it and put it in his garage and didn't drive it. But that right now, it's at, I think, $115,000, and I would not be surprised if that car sold for $130,000. It's crazy the value of them.
What year is it? You know?
It's a 2008, I believe.
So same year as yours?
No, mine's a 2006.
Okay. Gotcha.
So it's pretty much Matt's S2000 that he had, the black one. It's
yeah.
pretty much the same exact car, just a yellow one.
Huh.
Yep.
The 123 miles.
123, yep.
Excellent. All right, so last thing here before you leave, and we bring Brad in to close it out. So, working at OG, what are some of your favorite parts of working here, or perks, or something you didn't expect when you moved here? What's something just that people would want to know about working at OG?
My main thing, definitely a perk, is just the whole environment is great. Just the people that I get to work with. Most of the people that work here are very they're anal about detailing and take care of their cars, and I share a lot of those same interests with pretty much everybody here. So just the environment as a whole, for me at least, I get to laugh with all people every day, and it's just great. So
excellent. And bring your buddy from California. We are hiring in the warehouse.
Yeah,
so.
I'm trying to get him over here.
What's his name?
I keep
Maybe
telling
he's
him
watching.
Gabe.
Gabe
Is his
Hi,
name.
Gabe.
Yep. He needs to get over here.
Yeah. Trevor says Florida is better, and you should come work with us,
Yep.
Gabe. That's it. All right, thanks, Trevor.
Yep.
Appreciate you
Anytime.
stopping in. We got Brad coming in to close things out. He's the Mariano Rivera of this podcast. It's the bottom of the ninth.
Baseball humor.
Yeah. So, we're at 3:42. Time flies when you're having
And
fun.
Chris, I want to make sure that you answer a few things for yourself as well.
Oh, okay.
You know, being
Well,
the CFO around here and what that's like, and
all right, we'll get to that in a
your
second. Let's see.
challenges.
So, Brad, what's your title here? What's your duties? What do you do, kind of day to day, that people would want to know about?
So I'm director of I actually really don't know. I think it's director of digital strategy, something like
I
that.
looked up an email.
Yeah, but I mean, basically, it's all the things you see on the website, right? Everything that we do to get the word out there, social media, all that kind of stuff. It kind of follows under my department, e-commerce director. There you go, e-commerce director. And so it's just getting the word out, right? Getting the message the way that we want it. For you guys want to ask questions, I'm kind of the numbers guy, right? The analytics, you want to know what rates, what's our return rate, things like that. I'm kind of the guy to ask for that stuff. So, and kind of a lot of management too. So I think my team, was there 8 of us, right? There's eight people on the kind of web and e-commerce team. So just keeping everybody, doing the same thing, right? Just on track.
All right, let's see here. Get to a couple things in the chat real quick here. So Blower Band, a partner of ours, also, no state income tax in Florida. That's correct.
That's right.
That should do it alone. Yeah, and you moved here from where, by the way?
So I moved here from Denver, and so that's actually a really good point. So when I was in Colorado, I talked about this on my Scrub and Speak. So some people might be hearing this for the second time, but I moved here and I was self-employed before I got here, and so
okay.
I think
in Colorado.
In Colorado. So I did the math one time, and my tax rate, I believe it was 36%. I was self-employed. So when you're self-employed, you are the employer and the employee. So FICA, the employer pays 8%, the employee pays 8%. When you're both, you pay both. So you're 16% immediately.
Okay.
And there's a state income tax there. So I did the math. I think my effective rate was 35%, something like that, in just 1 year. And so I moved here. And so I just got my taxes done 2 weeks ago. and my effective rate was 14%. Would you believe that? 14%. I mean, think about that. That's just, never mind, any kind of raises or anything like that. That's 20%.
Cost of living.
It's a big jump. Yeah, right.
Would be lower here, I'm guessing.
Yeah, considerably.
Yeah.
Considerably.
So, yeah, there's lots of good reasons to move and work here. That's a pretty big one if you do the numbers.
Taxes, huge one.
Ken Ping says, speaking of Mariano Rivera, actually, he now lives just north of Gainesville. I didn't know that. That's cool. About an hour or so from y'all. Thanks, Ken. Maybe we'll see him one day. Jeff D, question from Jeff D here in the chat. What is it like to work with Jeff and have him work under you? How do you like Jeff?
Question from Jeff
about
Jeff?
From Jeff D about Jeff D.
From Jeff D about Jeff D. No, Jeff is a good guy. He's going to be an all-star one day. One thing I like about Jeff is he's you saw it today. Like, he kind of took this podcast and ran with it with Matt not being here. So Jeff, he's the kind of guy that he doesn't really take no. You know what I mean? Like, he'll keep going after something, and it's a good quality. And and he'll do things like ask about himself in a podcast, things like that. So he's got a lot of gumption, I guess you could say.
All right, let me get to this question here from, where'd it go? Greg Hansel wants to know, what are the property taxes? Well, so I just looked up mine, just to give you an answer here. So now the property appraiser is a little behind on their values, basically. So on my home, the taxable value after my exemptions, I have $50,000 worth of exemptions. Taxable value is $71,830. What were my taxes this year? I want to say around $1,600, something like that. That sounds about right.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that for me.
Yeah, so we could look yours up on your property appraiser website. But yeah, they're not bad. And it also depends on the county you live and different millage rates and blah blah blah. But
we were talking about Central Florida being a lot cheaper as well, but that's kind of changing pretty quickly.
Yeah,
I mean, when I left Denver last summer, I'd say the median for a good house, right, probably 600, 650. But go around Orlando right now. Look for like a pretty good house. You're talking about 500, 550. So it's not far off anymore.
Yeah, Greg says in Texas they hit you hard on property taxes, make up for no state income tax. No, here we just rely on the tourists to pay all the taxes, and that works.
It's
well
a good
for us.
system. It really is.
All right, so question for you. You just mentioned the Scrub and Speak.
Yep.
Which is on Inside the Hex if you want to see.
It's on the main channel too as well.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay.
Like and subscribe. Smash that like button.
Yeah. And Brad used a different technique than some people. He applied Brake Buster to his windows.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people don't know about that technique, Chris.
Well, go watch the video.
Everyone's been doing the matte method this whole time, but there's other ways to do it. That's all I'm saying.
All right, so somebody mentioned a Bronco with you earlier. So what vehicle do you have currently? People like knowing that sort of thing.
Right, yeah. So my daily is a Lexus. So, Waba got you in the Lexus Club as well. So I'm in an IS250. It's an 06. It's, purely a to B mobile. And actually, I do also want to thank Jeff for that. So I don't, you're going to ask the other questions. What products do I use? How do I wash my car? I don't.
You don't? Okay.
I don't.
But you buy stuff from here, so what do you do with that stuff? You sell it to friends?
No, so I bought a pressure washer, and actually I've been using that to like actually pressure wash like the house. You know what I mean? Like real pressure washing stuff. And so Jeff, he did a full everything. He did polish, he put some gliss on the headlights, he did everything. And so it's the cleanest the car will ever be, right? The moment I leave, it's probably not going to clean it for 2 or 3 months. So I want to thank Jeff for that. But it's an IS250, and then I've got my 83 Bronco, which has made an appearance on Inside the Hex before when I had a lot of trouble getting a title, etc. And then I've also got a 2019 Ram 1500, which it's a great truck. There's a lot of Mopar haters here, but the Ram really is a good truck. The Bronco, it's, Waba mentioned earlier, I'm the president of 4 Wheel Friday, as you know. I'm the president. So I think there are 4 or 5 members.
I'm a former member. I'm a member emeritus.
Yeah, so you had to give up your sticker. Bryce just gave up his sticker because he traded the F-150.
Right.
So we're actually losing membership, but that's not always a bad thing, right? That sometimes exclusivity, it sells. You got me, Waba. You have Chris Toda. He got a Tacoma. Daniel Solorzano. Daniel, he has a old Nissan pickup. It's cool. It's a cool one. So I believe there's 4 members of the club right now. So it's, numbers are dwindling, but,
that's the way it goes. All right, Greg wants to know, are you into cigars? Do you have a favorite cigar?
Am I into cigars?
He's asking a favorite cigar. I'm not. I used to be. I'm not so much anymore. But
so I've got more into them simply because. So I have a cousin who is getting married to a girl that her family owns a bunch of cigars and in Tampa, this whole cigar thing. Yeah, the Fuente thing. I don't know if I was supposed to name drop that, Chris. Thank you for that. And so the thing about, so I wasn't really into it, but, and you've probably gone through this before, when you meet people that are passionate about something and they share it with you, you kind of start feeling it, right? And it makes you curious about it. So it wasn't something I had much curiosity for. And so I'd end up spending a week with that side of my family, if you will, and she was just, kind of talking me through everything, right? The little pieces of it, the notes, the same way you would with whiskey, right?
Right.
And it kind of makes you intrigued. And so, and more on that, I mean, when people are really passionate about something, like think about all the things that you were interested in, like in your life, right? It's because someone shared it with you, right? Someone that was really good about it, shared it with you. Probably most of you guys, in this, when it comes to detailing or something like that, is because, maybe you saw Matt's video or one of your friends shared it with you. And so, I'm getting more into that. I almost exclusively smoke Fuentes just simply because it's a little bit of loyalty. I don't know. I don't know anybody else, right? So
honor the source.
Stick with that. So I honor the source. But yeah, more on that. I'll try a few this weekend and see how that goes. I'm still very, very new, very green.
We have a couple of 4-Wheel Friday questions.
Good.
Greg wants to know, is Mike F part of the 4-Wheel Drive Club?
Mike F, is his a 4-wheel drive?
I would think so.
I think he has. Yes, Mike F has a sticker. Yeah. I apologize. I omitted Mike F. All right. If you're listening, Mike, I truly apologize. I do.
All right, and then our very own Ed wants to know: are you planning on letting all-wheel drive cars participate in 4-Wheel Drive Friday?
So that's been an issue here at Obsessed Garage. It's been an ongoing issue. So as you can imagine, we have a lot of Volkswagens, Porsches, things like that. So all-wheel drive has been a recurring theme, and so we have the stickers to join the club. And that's truly how you know you've entered the club, is once you officially receive the sticker. You've entered 4-Wheel Friday. And it's a recurring thing. Hey, is all-wheel drive part of it? Hey, I've got a Golf R, it's a Spectrum, right? Oh, can I have a sticker, right? No, you can't. You can't have a sticker.
So all-wheel drive.
4-Wheel Friday. So yes, you have to be able to select 2 or 4-wheel drive. You are in 4-Wheel Friday. It's that simple.
So there you go. Yeah, Matt and Ed were both concerned about that.
It's very simple.
K-Series Joe, he joined late. Where's Matt? Matt is probably at home working on his closets. He couldn't make it today, so we did this thing where we had probably 8 or 10 different employees here come through and answer some questions, tell you a little bit about what they do. So what is let me ask you this then, because people want to know.
Sure.
What is like one of your favorite parts of working here as opposed to when you were doing your own thing? Because obviously you left doing your own thing and you had some certain freedoms and other things that go along with that, some pros. But what do you enjoy here? What's something that you like more than maybe you thought you would?
Yeah, I think I like the guys here. I like the camaraderie. I like, the teamwork. So I was self-employed when anything needed to be done, it was me, right? And I didn't necessarily work. I wasn't working 60 hours a week, but I was doing a lot of things that the best way to put it is I wasn't necessarily good at. And so now we've got a whole team of, okay, I need something really beautiful created. I can lean on Lewis. I can say, hey, Lewis, can you make this for me? Right? I need, for our website. We got our site just launched. Bryce did so much work on that because he's good at stuff like that. Whereas in the past, I'd be kind of fumbling my way through things like that, especially the creative stuff. Not good at that. So having the full team has been invaluable, right? And just having a place to go and hang out with like-minded people. I would say the thing that I miss is that flexibility. So when you're self-employed, I mean, you can work from 3 to 11 p.m. if the day needed that, right? If the day called for it. So it's been a tough transition for me. I'm used to it now, but the first few months, like you wake up at this time and then you work until this time. It was, I haven't been like that for years and years and years. And so that was a little weird. I'm used to it now. You don't necessarily mind it, but it's just an adjustment.
And you have a commute here.
I have a commute, and so that I've talked about this in the past too. I mean, we're in Lady Lake, Florida. It's right near the Villages. It's a retirement area, so for a certain cohort of people, this is a great place to be, right? So I had to make that decision when I got here. Do I live near the Villages? And hang out with all the old folks and the happiest place on earth here. Everyone's always happy around here. Or do I live further away, closer to Orlando, more cultural things for myself, my wife, and make that commute. So which is the lesser of those evils, or which is the greater of those two options, right? And so we chose to. So I live kind of in the outskirts of Orlando in Oakland, which is on the west side, and the end result being I drive, hop on the turnpike every day. I pay, I don't know, $3-4 a day in tolls. I drive an hour, but it's the decision I made. I feel like it's worthwhile.
David J., our buddy in Alabama, has a good point here. He said, let's be honest, Matt is probably taking a nap by now. Yeah, it's 3:54.
Yeah, it's been about an hour since he started, I'd imagine.
That is true.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to end this soon here, but go ahead. You said you had a couple questions for me because I can't think of questions for myself.
Yeah, no. I mean, some of those same questions that you've been asking everybody else. Like,
okay.
you hop in this podcast and you kind of just sink in and you start hosting most of the time. We don't really talk about your position. Like, what's your title? What do you do every day? What what affects you? What do you fix every day?
My title is CFO, Chief Financial Officer. I also have some other things I do. We joke about me being in charge of HR and payroll and accounts receivable, accounts payable, some other stuff. My load has lightened in that regard since we bring more people on because I used to do a lot more of SKU Labs and Shopify and a bunch of other stuff. But for the most part, my day-to-day, what I'd like it to be is, as Matt calls it, finding money or chatting with our suppliers or getting better terms or figuring out ways to save money or looking places to improve the way we do things.
Health insurance, for example.
Yes, finding better options for health insurance and payroll providers and stuff like that, which I can't always do because I have other menial tasks I have to do, which come with the job and part of the job. But we'll be getting someone soon, hopefully, who will take some of that off my plate so I can focus more on that. But then there's a lot of different things I get to do as part of that I enjoy and some things I don't enjoy as much. So that's what I do. That's the short version. I do a lot. Do I wash my own car? Not really. I'm not into the whole detailing thing. I'm kind of like you.
What product would you like to see here?
Ooh, that's
given the
question.
Opportunity.
If it had to be with detailing and such, honestly, I'm like Manny, or not Manny, but some of those guys, and the only thing I know is what I've seen Matt use. So I don't know to go find other stuff.
What about like that big pole for like the top of your
F-150? No, I didn't. I never got the Incredipole.
No.
The last time I washed my car, Tommy helped me. It was in January, but it stays looking all right.
It rains every once in a while.
Yeah. But I don't honestly don't really care much about detailing and that stuff. But it is fun. I do find it therapeutic sometimes, so I can understand why that is. Because when we were out there washing, we were just chatting and having a good time, and washing is like, this is kind of nice because you can also see the results, tangible. Mm-hmm. You can see I did that and this difference was made. Here's a good question from K-Series Joe. Do you have a finance degree? I do not, K-Series Joe. I have a computer science degree. With a
what's
minor.
Your history there, Chris? How'd you get here?
BS in computer science, minored in business administration, and then a master's in educational leadership because I was a teacher and involved in education for a while. And I got here because Matt and I have known each other for 10 years now. April of 2012 we met. And we chatted a bunch. In the beginning when he started OG, I talked to him about it. I was a friend of his. Every single Wednesday, because I was working at home at the time, I would send him a list of suggestions. Hey, you ever thought about this? You ever doing this? Because I watched all the videos because I was working from home and had time in between calls. And so one day he told me April 1st, 2017. He said, okay, in about 18 months, I'm going to be ready to hire you away. Are you willing to do that? You want to do that? I was like, sure, let's do it. So it was about 16 months later that he called and said, hey, you ready to come? I was like, yep, let's do it.
Do you miss teaching at all?
No, I don't. I miss the students. I still tutor very, very, very rarely. But
the end result is you kind of treat us like students,
right?
Sometimes,
yeah. I slip into teacher
Chris,
mode
can
sometimes.
I do this? And what would you say? I don't know. I don't know. Can you?
Yeah. Or can I ask you a question? You just did. Thank you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I do miss that part of high schoolers being obnoxious and sarcastic with them and having fun and teaching them math sometimes too. Let's see. We have the same degree basically, JC. IT specialist. Oh, cool. Yeah, but see, I graduated from college in 2000, and so everything I learned is out of date by now. I don't keep up with it like I should. I rely on the guys here, Bryce and those guys, to keep me in the loop and that sort of thing. So everything I learned was good at the time, but it's not so good anymore. And then let's see. I had a Karcher pressure washer, but it died on me. And I found every once in a while I find myself doing Matt things, and so I was like, I'm not even sending this back or getting the warranty. I just don't care enough. Which I was like, What am I becoming? Normally, I'd be like calling that day, hey, I got to have this. I'm filling out my replacement card. Let's do this. But no. So I don't have a pressure washer right now, but I'll be getting one soon.
Yeah.
Who's the oldest person at OG besides Matt's parents? That's a good question.
It's got to be you, right?
It might be. Toda is close.
How old are you?
Toda? I'm 43.
I thought Toto was late 30s.
Yeah, he might be.
Lewis is 40. What's Matt, 42, 43?
Yeah, he turned 42 this year. Yes, I might be. Which is pretty funny because that's I don't really feel old till I get here. And like some of those guys are early 20s, like
well,
Nick
we've
and Sean.
filled this whole place with kids, so
Yeah.
it can feel that way sometimes.
But the good news is when I moved all my dentist appointments, all my doctor's appointments, everything to the Villages from Ocala. And so now when I go to the doctors, they tell me how young I am because everybody else that comes
That's
in
a
is
life hack
98
right
years
there,
old.
actually. That's a Chris pro
Yeah.
tip.
Ooh, thank you, Mike F. Thank you, David J. Warrigo and Greg Hansel. Both
Mike
of them.
F, yeah, of course.
Mike S.
Yeah.
He's 50 something.
Yeah. Trevor said
Okay, good.
51.
I feel younger now.
Yeah.
That's good. All right, any more questions for me?
What are
Over there?
what are the odds that you're going to let me go on an ego stubby rant real quick before we go?
We can do that.
Do you think the odds are high on that?
Any updates? This is a good question first from Christopher Dede. Any updates on Crenzola pressure washers coming in?
Yeah.
Do you know about that? I don't know much.
Yeah,
What do you know?
so we just sent out the reserve your spot email. So we have the container that they last received is still being unloaded. So a given container is, I want to say 12 pallets, and each one has, I don't know, I think like 20 pressure washers on it, something like that. The math ends up being somewhere between 600 and 800 pressure washers are in a container, whatever that math is. And so they have a shipping and receiving department over there of like 1 to 1.5 people, which is to say that 1 to 1.5 people is shipping out all 800 of those things over the course of 1, 2, 3 weeks until the next container comes in, and then they start it all over again. So we haven't received a container since last New Year's, I want to say. And so we are shipping, and some of my dates may be a little off, but I believe through mid-December for the 1122s and the 1322s,
Okay.
which is to say that sometime in the next few days, if you have a 1322 or an 1122, you will be receiving a tracking number if you have an order, let's say Black Friday weekend. Those should all be fulfilled, sent out all the way through mid-December, and then the 1622s is mid-January or something like that. So all that is to say that the Black Friday backlog, what it looked like is we ended up having to spend like a container and a half getting through the Black Friday weekend orders simply because there was just so many, right? And so it's, if you have an order in early January or something like that, now we're going to get to you pretty quickly because there were just so many that we had to fulfill just from 1 or 2 days. So, I go through this each time and people always get really upset with me. I have to be the bearer of bad news, but Crenzola doesn't tell us how many of each is in each container. They, we can ask till our faces turn blue, hey, how many are in the container?
I don't think they know sometimes.
How many do we get? How many, all that stuff. And all we really know is once we get a tracking number, right? And so, the relationship can be a little icy sometimes because of that, where we're constantly bothering them. Hey, what about this? What about that? And they're just like, quit asking. Well, it's going to be the same answer as last time. So we have another container coming in 2 or 3 weeks. We're going to do this all over again. We're going to wonder how many are on it. We're going to wait to see tracking numbers. And we're going to keep negotiating with Crenzola over and over and over. And so all that is to say, mid-December for 1322s and 1122s.
All right, Lewis chimes in the chat. Chris, bruh, I'm 40. Yeah, I knew that last year, the big 4-0. And then Greg, sucking up to him, says he's looking good for 40. Lewis looks pretty good sometimes. He gets his hair cut. That's when he looks the best.
Yeah, he looks sharp, sharp guy.
All right, you can do your stubby rant, as it were, and then I'll go over to your chair where you were and
click the big red button.
Yeah, I'll get ready to shut things down. But thank you all for joining. If you're still here, by the way, after 2 hours, God bless you. We appreciate you.
Yeah, what are you doing
questions.
here? What are you doing here?
Yeah, you guys gotta find something else to do on Friday afternoons. But we do appreciate you being here. We're just joking, of course. All right, so stubby rant.
Yeah,
and I'll go
it's just pretend like you're listening to me at the very least, as if like I have something valuable to say. So what we are is a retailer. Okay, so just about everything except drying aid and tire dressing, decon soap, everything that we sell is made by a manufacturer. And so a mistake that we made this time around was we didn't do a good job of explaining that two things. One, that we didn't make the stubby, right? We're a retailer, just like every other relationship that we have. And we did not do a good job of enumerating the fact that this is this thing has never existed before, right? It's new to the market. And so, we could have done a better job with that. And so what I kind of want everybody to know is, when you're having all these issues, info at Apex Air, they'll do everything that you can expect from any other company. If you got a bad pressure washer from Karcher, you can reach out to the manufacturer and they'll do warranty work for you. They'll replace things. They'll make things right. And this is no different. And so what we ended up doing is we allowed the kind of the hype to go unfiltered without stepping in at any point. The hype of what this could be, the hype of what is coming, without jumping in and saying, hey, it's a pre-order. Hey, this thing is, we don't know much about it. We're selling this cool thing. We've been helping make it. David is a really smart guy. He knows all kinds of stuff about what they're creating here, but we didn't do a good job of explaining the fact that this is a pre-order, right? It's a brand new product. And so give our support guys a break. That's where I'm going with that. Give our support guys a break. It looks like I'm having a monologue right now, Chris, since you left. Chris is still sitting right here. But any questions you have, returns, warranty work, you want stronger springs, info at apexair.com. They'll hook you up. They'll get it all figured out. If you want to just return your stubby, you can always just return it, just like any other product that we have. And we're looking forward to version 2 to fix a lot of these issues. We've been on the phone with David like daily. We're talking through all these issues. We hear everybody. We hear all the things that are going wrong, and we're working on them. So we appreciate everybody for joining the pre-order. And it's Obsessed Garage is about discovery. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we're happy with all the people that help us discover. And this is another instance of discovery that we have. We just didn't do a good job of saying that you're helping us discover. We did that with the press saws. You're helping us do this new thing. Mm-hmm. But this time we didn't do a great job of, hey, this is a new thing. You're helping us pre-order with that. We kind of led on that it's this finished product, right? And so, we can take some responsibility for that. But at the same time, it's a chunk of plastic, It's okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay for some of those people. And I also, one last thing. I told you it was going to be a rant.
This is good. They've been wanting rant all day.
Our return rate.
Mm-hmm.
Our return rate. So after all this is said and done, we've said multiple times till our face turns blue that you can return this.
Right. We shipped out 1,000.
We shipped out 1,000. Our return rate is 4.5%. Normally 4.5%
on other products.
Just like as a whole. That was what it was in Q1, which is lower for most e-commerce operations. It's a really good return rate. So we sent out 1,000 of these stubbies.
Okay.
And at this point, I want you to guess, Chris. And actually, in the chat, you guys go ahead and guess too. Put some guesses in.
I'm going to guess lower than that.
How many returns do you think we've had so far? If our normal rate is, so it should be 45 if it's at a normal rate, right? How many returns do you think we've
I know we haven't had 45.
Go ahead and guess in the chat. The winner.
Oh, you'll give them a free t-shirt.
The winner will get free shipping for life with the purchase of a Hex Plus membership.
For life?
For life.
Oh, nice.
As long as you're an active Hex Plus member, free shipping for life.
All right. Our first guess is in.
Two.
Right? All right. Two.
That's delayed, so they're going to see this in a little bit.
20. Rephrased. Oh, Greg guessed 2, but probably after.
2.
So that's 0.2%. Right.
People like it.
Well,
that's all I'm getting at. All right, rant over. Sorry, guys. That went way too long.
Well, yeah, that's how it goes. The squeaky. What is it? The squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Right.
Yeah. 2.5%, 2%, 20, no, 2.5, 15.
No, not 2%. 2.
Yeah, 2.
We had 2
out of
returns.
1,000. Yeah, it's 0.2%. Less than 1%. 1/5 of 1% for you math people. Greg says he already has a Hex Plus membership, so you're...
Sorry, Greg.
Oh, man. All the people complaining on Facebook made me think more. Yeah, they didn't return it, I guess. They just complained about it. Which, honestly, if I hated something enough, I probably wouldn't return either. Just, as Matt says, I would punt it. But, yeah,
right.
You can always return it. We'll be happy to take it back, and because we're looking to improve it. And to finish things out, so Matt, he mentions this fairly often, and he mentioned it yesterday, that as we grow, we learn lessons along the way. We're learning as we go. We don't know what we're doing because we've never been here before where we are. And no business knows what they're doing because they've never been where they are before. Well, some businesses might, but not many. So we're figuring this out as we go, and we're getting feedback from you all, and we appreciate that on everything, not just the griping about the stubbies, but press-all bottles or this or that. There's the active pressure washers had an issue. Everything in the beginning is going to have issues, and so that's kind of our journey together is to let's figure out the issues, let's make it better, and let's go from there. So again, thank you all for tuning in today, for sticking it out, those of you who have been here for a while. And it's 4:09 p.m., so we're going to head out, but we will be back next week. Hopefully Matt will be back. If the closets are done, April 29th, I think he'll be back. That's the plan. Yeah. I don't know what that is, but we'll see. But we appreciate you sticking around today, and thank you for supporting us as always. We'll be back next week.
Thanks, guys.